And with the microphone actually turned on, here we go. Gwe Ipchilidak. Bonjour, bienvenue, hello, and welcome to Mainland Commons Field here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. My name is Michael Petter, joined once again by Eric Fougier for day number 2 of the 2023 Baseball Canada Women's Championship. And our opening game of the day is in Pool B between the Quebec 2 team, or the Quebec Light Blue, who come in with a record of 1-1, taking on the Manitoba team, who come in tied for the lead in Pool B with a record of 1-0. They and Saskatchewan both with victories yesterday in their only games, and they'll both be playing twice today. And before we go any further, we must once again acknowledge that Mainland Commons, as well as the entire city of Halifax, the entire province of Nova Scotia, all lie within the ancestral unceded territory of Mi'kmaq. Let's take you through the Quebec batting order as they are the visiting team, and I'll turn it over to Eric for that.
Of course. Merci beaucoup, Mike. Bonjour à tous les auditeurs
Quebec et également... One of the coaches of Team Canada thought if you wanted to get her on for some of the... Okay, so maybe
voilà. Excusez-moi. Océane Lambert qui va frapper au premier rang, joue au l'arrêt court. Frédéric Noël qui joue au deuxième but, frappe au deuxième rang. Megan Veilleux qui va être la lanceuse, qui, elle, va frapper au troisième rang. Éléonore de Blois qui va être au quatrième rang. Alexandra Lacroix, joueur de premier but, qui va frapper ensuite. Charlie Marcotte qui suit, qui va être au champ gauche. Audrey-Anne Vachon, le champ centre. Également Elodie Chiamaro, la receveuse, ainsi que Kiera Labrie qui joue au troisième but, qui va être le 9e frappeur.
Merci beaucoup, Eric. And the first pitch is popped up on the right side of the infield, or left side of the infield, caught by the third baseman, Zoe Hicks, and a quick one pitch, one out to get the game started here. First pitch coming at 9:57 a.m., so we started a little bit ahead of schedule, and we're just having a little bit of an issue with the scoreboard right now. Dixon is working on it remotely, so we'll just let Dixon take care of that. And we'll run you through the Manitoba defense here after the first pitch coming up to Frédéric Noël. And Noel takes a first pitch strike as called by our home plate umpire for today's game, Skylar Blanchette from here in Nova Scotia. Umpiring at first base is Jonathan Schutt from PEI, and Tanya Millette from Quebec is umpiring on the third base side. That second pitch goes high, 1-1. And before we get to the next pitch, we'll run you through the Manitoba outfield from left to right. It's Mercedes Gorham in left, Horizon Senf in center, and Jewel Thompson in right. The next pitch misses low to Noel, so the count now 2-1. Around the infield for Manitoba, we already talked about Zoe Hicks, who made the catch at third base. There's a liner to short, which brings us to the shortstop, Caitlin Hepner, who makes that catch for the second out of the inning. The right side of the infield at second base is Ella Holm, and at first base is Amber Baker. Behind the plate doing the catching today, Caitlin Culleton, and on the mound, who's got 2 outs so far already on just 5 pitches, it is Jamie Johnson who gets the start today for Team Manitoba, and she's now facing her counterpart on the mound for this game, Megan Veilleux. Veilleux takes a first pitch strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. And Eric, we talked about it a lot yesterday, how important pitching is in a tournament like this, and so we're going to see more of the same today, and Johnson off to a great start on the mound here quickly for Manitoba.
Tout à fait, je pense que Johnson a déjà eu beaucoup de chance. Seulement deux retraits après seulement 5 lancés, si elle est capable de garder cette cadence-là. Je m'inquiète un peu pour l'équipe du Québec. Ils doivent jouer avec un peu plus de patience, un petit peu plus d'urgence. Ils ne peuvent pas se permettre de perdre un autre match avec déjà 2 défaites dans le tournoi.
One of the things for Quebec is the fact that they're already playing their third game of this tournament. So, you know, Manitoba, they're only playing their second game. They haven't played since an early game yesterday. Quebec played twice yesterday. They're going to play twice today. Their schedule, much more compact, makes it a little bit more challenging for them.
Oui, tout à fait. Je pense que j'ai entièrement raison là-dessus.
That one grounded up the first base side. Off the mound to get it is Johnson over the first in time, and it's a quick 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. We played half an inning. Quebec no score. Manitoba coming up to bat, and we'll take you through the Manitoba batting order. The catcher Caitlin Culleton will lead off. Zoe Hicks will bat second. She's playing third base. Batting third and playing left field, Mercedes Gorham. The DH today batting in the cleanup spot, Leah Peich. 5th, 6th, and 7th is the shortstop Caitlin Hepner, the first base Amber Baker, and the second base Ella Holm. Batting in the 8th spot is Jewel Thompson in right field, and batting 9th is Horizon Senf, the center fielder, and again, all of that in support of their pitcher, who's not in the batting order, Jamie Johnson. And Eric, I'll allow you to take us through the defense of the Quebec team.
Oui, notre lanceuse aujourd'hui va être Megan Veilleux, la receveuse Elodie Chamaro. Le joueur du premier but est Alexandra Lacroix. Ensuite, au deuxième, Frédéric Noël. Au troisième, Kira Labrie. L'arrêt-court, Océane Lambert. Au champ gauche, Charlie Marcotte. Au champ centre, Audrey-Anne Vachon. Et au champ droit, Éléonore Deblois.
Thank you very much, Eric. And gotta say, welcome back to the booth again. It was a lot of fun having you up here yesterday, and we really do appreciate having you along with us for this tournament. But we are going to kick you out for a little bit of time later on in this game, as we do have a special guest who's going to be joining us for a bit.
C'est absolument parfait. Je cède ma place avec bonheur et avec beaucoup de grâce.
And I'm sure that the fans in Quebec in particular, but all of our fans who are francophone from whatever province, appreciate having you on here to help us out. Because if I were to try to say any of it in French, I'd be lost. I can understand what's being said to me, but for me to try and say it, it would be a little bit awful, shall we say?
Bon, on est chanceux, on a quand même évidemment la province de Québec. Et puis, il y a une grosse population francophone au Manitoba. Donc, évidemment, il ne faut pas les négliger non plus dans ce match. D'ailleurs, les coachs, il y a 2 coachs qui sont des bissonnettes. On a eu le plaisir de leur parler un peu avant le match. Donc, on est excités d'être là. Puis, ça fait du bien, évidemment, essayer d'insérer un peu de francophone dans notre quotidien.
One of the few words I know, certainement. As we get ready for Caitlin Culleton to step in and take her first cuts of the morning. A beautiful morning here in Nova Scotia. And Culleton, the lefty, stepping in for her first chance at Veilleux. And Veilleux throws a first pitch strike, getting Culleton to chase one a little bit down. And the count quickly 0-1. As a lefty versus lefty matchup here to get things going in the bottom of the first. That one will miss low, and the count goes to 1-1. We've seen a lot of good left-handed pitching in this tournament already, and you know, left-handed pitching, because it is a little bit more rare, at such a premium, but a lot of good lefties out on the mound so far here we've seen.
Des fois, on a un joueur qui lance de la gauche, puis c'est souvent intéressant d'essayer de développer ce joueur-là pour devenir un lanceur. On a des fois une chance de pouvoir dire, bon, on a un joueur qui lance de la gauche naturellement, mais le développer comme lanceur, c'est tout le temps plus motivant comme un coach.
2-1 the count, and now 3-1 as that one misses just a little bit outside. Manitoba, we mentioned, they're 1-0. They had a big comeback victory yesterday after they were trailing 9-3 at one point against Ontario. Came back and won that game 16-9. Quebec started with a hard-fought but a tough 12-6 loss to Nova Scotia. Bounced back with a strong performance in an 8-5 win against Ontario too. So both of these teams coming off of wins their last time out and playing with momentum, so important in a game like baseball.
Absolument. De la confiance dans tous les sports même. Mais le baseball, évidemment, là, on vient avec un peu de confiance. Ça fait une grosse différence dans la tête d'un joueur.
And it's a leadoff walk for Caitlin Culleton. So we get our first base runner of the game leading off the bottom of the first here. That'll bring up Zoe Hicks, the third baseman. And Manitoba back-to-back lefties at the top of the batting order as well. So facing a left-handed pitcher, but still the manager willing to throw the lefties at the top of the lineup here. That old maxim of a lefty versus lefty is tougher for the batter, but they're going to do all right, I think.
On essaie toujours de mettre un frappeur gaucher en deuxième rang d'avancer un peu les joueurs. C'est une vieille stratégie de baseball.
First pitch called in for a strike, and so a quick 0-1 count in favor of Veilleux on the mound. And we talked a little bit about Quebec's batting order looking very similar to the way it was in both of the games yesterday. Throw over to first and getting back easily is Culleton. And so Quebec really, they brought a big squad, but they really are relying on their key players, their stars, to get a lot of innings in, both offensively and defensively.
Tout à fait.
Another throw over to first, and
Une belle motion vers le premier aussi. Veilleux semble confortable dans cette motion vers le premier.
not a very fancy move, but an effective move over to first, certainly. Coming to the plate this time, she had Culleton fooled going back to the bag. And, you know, we talk about the importance of a secondary lead, but a great move there by Veilleux completely negates a secondary lead on that pitch.
Tout à fait. Le kick de Veilleux n'est pas prononcé, donc c'est un peu difficile de juger quand on est au premier.
Another one fouled back, and the count remains 0-2 here on Hicks. This is our first chance to get a look at Team Manitoba, and defensively they had a very good top of the first, and so far one player has been to bat and gotten on base, and we're getting to see the second one, but we'll get to learn more about this team as we go on today, as we'll actually have them twice today. They play both of their games here at Mainland Commons. Another throw over to first, and Culleton able to get back yet again. Just to remind everybody that games on Mainland Common, Eric and I will be here for all of those. Games over at Weir Field are also available. You'll just have to back out of this particular link, go back out to the main page at AO Live, and then click on the link for Weir Field, and you can flip back and forth between games as much as you want all day long. The majority of the games will be here. Of course, Weir Field just has 2 games, while we'll have 4 today. But you can catch every minute of action. As there's some action, a shot out to right center field. It'll get beyond both fielders all the way out to the wall. Rounding third and heading for home is Culleton. She'll get in there. There will be a throw, but Culleton gets in safely. Now a throw back to second, and just getting back is Zoe Hicks, as she was thinking about trying to head for third, but a big RBI double for Hicks to get Manitoba off to a fantastic start here in the early goings. A quick 1-0 lead for the team who is the home side in this morning's game. Manitoba with a big run in the bottom of the first.
C'était toute une frappe dans l'espace du champ, le gap, comme on dit, dans le champ gauche, avec beaucoup de conviction. C'était aussi un beau combat au bâton, une coupe de balles fausses et puis du bon travail.
So that brings up Mercedes Gorham. Now, we've been given the pronunciation that the H is emphasized, but then on the sheet that we were given, it was just given to us phonetically as Gorham. So we're going to go with what we were actually told, which is Gorham. And if that is incorrect, we're going with what a member of Team Manitoba told us.
Ne vous fâchez pas les parents, on fait notre possible.
And Gorham with a 1-1 count here with a runner on second base. That pitch catches the bottom of the zone, and it's now 1-2. In the on-deck circle, Leah Peich, the designated hitter for Team Manitoba today. Veilleux gets set and delivers the 1-2. Swung on and missed, and that's the first out of the inning. An important strikeout there for Veilleux with a runner in scoring position and still nobody out. To get an unproductive out is a big way to get things going here. And that does bring up Leah Peich. Peich, the first righty that we've seen in the lineup here for Manitoba. That'll miss in the dirt, get by the catcher Chamero, and allows Hicks to get down to third base on the pass ball. Or pass ball or wild pitch, hard to say for sure which was which there, but either way it does move Hicks up another important 90 feet, and now a ground ball will double up on Manitoba's lead here early in the game, just the bottom of the first inning. And if you're joining us from Manitoba, good very early morning on a Friday. Having your coffee.
7 heures le matin, Manitoba, c'est tôt.
Having your coffee, getting ready to head off for work, I'm sure, but we do appreciate you joining us here on a Friday morning. It is still Friday, right?
Les jours se mélangent.
That one misses in the dirt as well. The count goes to 3-0 here on Peich. And I asked I asked one of the members of Team Manitoba, didn't get an answer yet, hoping we'll get one before the tournament ends, if there's any relation to Reese Peich, who lives in the area and is a hockey player that I've covered for a number of years. He's now actually playing for the Halifax Mooseheads, so quite a talented hockey player. And if they are related, then as that one will miss in the dirt, the ball will stay right by the plate as it nearly got away from Chimero, but the walk puts runners at their corners with one out and brings up the shortstop, Caitlin Hepner.
Now batting number 2, Caitlin Hepner.
Le Manitoba semble avoir une équipe qui est bon au bâton, des bons frappeurs.
And all you need for proof of that is the fact that they were able to put up 16 runs yesterday on a pretty good Ontario 2 pitching staff. We got to see Ontario 2 in their second game against this Quebec team, and it was a hard-fought, close battle all the way through. And as they catch Peich going the wrong way, and they get the tag on her quickly.
L'émotion de Veilleux est très, très, très décevante. Il y a beaucoup de déception, c'est-à-dire, dans sa...
And the first base coach of Manitoba, they're not too happy with the move from Veilleux, as he was trying to argue for a balk. But the first base umpire there, who again is Jonathan Schutt of PEI, Schutt saying it was a good move, and so the pickoff for the second out. And that changes the complexion of this inning in a big, big way.
Oui, c'est un retrait important, très important. Québec n'avait besoin, évidemment, c'est de limiter les dommages. Un seul point à date, mais avec un coureur dans la position de marquer, il faut essayer d'aller chercher les retraits où on peut.
And again, it was a very good move because it was very close to the line, as emphasized by the Manitoba first base coach. He thought the knee did going across, but...
Elle n'a pas un gros kick, Veilleux. Sa jambe ne voyage pas énormément au travers de son corps, donc ça va toujours être difficile de juger ça comme une feinte irrégulière.
2-1 now, the count on Hepner. As Hicks still stands at third base. Hicks with that big bomb out to right center field into the gap. Drove in the run. There's a swing and a miss, and the count goes to 2-2 here on Hepner. Veilleux one strike away now from getting out of this inning. That one fouled back high into the air and comes down and bounces into some thick grass and brush up there. That ball's going to be a bit of a challenge to find, I think. Kind of like my golf balls on a regular basis.
Ouais, je passe beaucoup de temps dans le bois, moi aussi.
That one sent out to right field. Getting underneath it there is Desbois, and she will make the catch for the third out of the inning. No runs, one hit, no errors, one runner left on base. We've played one complete, and it is Manitoba leading Team Quebec 2 by a score of 1-0. Due up in the top of the second for Quebec. It is the middle of the order.
Eleanor Deblois va commencer la manche, suivi de Alexandra Lacroix et Charlie Marcotte. Et Audrey-Anne Vachon, on souhaite voir autant de frappeuses que possible.
And that is what is going to be faced by Jamie Johnson for her second inning of work as she gets out onto the mound. And we talked about the fact that Manitoba, they were trailing 9-3 at one point in that game, so they scored 13 straight runs in the last, I believe it was 3 innings of that game. So now in their last 4 innings of play, they've scored 14 runs, and they still have yet to play Saskatchewan and Nova Scotia. And if I'm a coach of either one of those two teams, I'm looking at those numbers and thinking, uh-oh, we got a juggernaut to face.
Tout à fait. Je pense qu'on l'a vu hier, évidemment, tu le dis très bien. Ils sont revenus de l'arrière et puis pour revenir et gagner ce match. Ça semble être une équipe qui a beaucoup de discipline au bâton. À date, on a vu de bons coups sûrs, un bon but sur balle, bien travaillé. Ouais, je suis d'accord avec toi. Il faut bien faire du dépistage avec l'équipe du Manitoba, on s'attend à avoir une équipe qui est très forte à l'offensive.
As we get ready for the bottom of the second inning, it's going to be Eleanor Deblois leading things off here for Quebec.
Maintenant au bâton, le numéro 7, Eleanor Deblois.
And this game, the first time we didn't have a run in the top of the first inning, but we still get runs in the first, just not in the top for the first time in this whole tournament.
Il y a beaucoup moins de vent aujourd'hui aussi. Si on regarde les drapeaux, ils sont pas aussi agités qu'hier. On dirait que ça se calme un peu. Là. On entend encore le vent dans nos micros, là, mais on dirait que c'est beaucoup moindre qu'hier.
First pitch in right at the bottom of the zone for a strike, 0-1 the count. Second pitch misses perhaps just a bit outside. It was close, but doesn't quite catch the zone. So 1-1 now the count here on Deblois. Another pitch that again just misses outside. And as we've mentioned a couple times, high and low we can tell really well from here, but inside, outside, because we're standing over the third base dugout, it's sometimes a little hard to tell if a pitch misses inside or outside. You got to watch the catcher sort of. As the grounder over to second base, gathered in by home, over to first in time for out number 1. And that'll bring up Alexandra Lacroix. Lacroix playing first base in today's game, and she's batting in the 5th spot in the order as she has been pretty much all tournament long.
Au bâton, le numéro 28, Alexandra Lacroix.
Lacroix, another left-handed hitter for Quebec. And one of the factors that we don't have in this game, or at least not yet, but that we did have in all of yesterday's games, is the wind is not nearly as
Les drapeaux sont moins excités dans le chanson.
There's a little bit of a breeze that is blowing from left to right, but not nearly to the force that we had in some of those winds yesterday. That pitch catches the top of the zone, and the count now 2-1 here on Lacroix. And a bit of a bad news scenario, and I don't want to point fingers, but there's one unfortunate thing with the way Baseball Canada works with the Game Changer app. We are not able to access previous stats from the tournament. So because Manitoba played over on the other field, we don't have access to any of their stats. We could run you through all the Quebec stats because they've only played on this field, but I don't think it'd be really fair to do one and not do the other. So that's why we're not making reference to any previous stats in the tournament, if anybody's wondering. Lacroix grounds out to second, so quick 2 up, 2 down. That'll bring up Charlie Marcotte. Marcotte playing left field in today's game. As Quebec yet to get a ball out of the infield. That one misses outside, ball 1. And that shows that Johnson obviously has pretty good spin on her ball too, as Quebec not able to get a lot of power on any of their hits just yet.
Les seules balles frappées au ciel ont pour voyager très loin. Et puis tout au sol, à date, on dirait qu'il va du côté droit. Donc habituellement, ça indique, comme tu le dis, une balle qui bouge beaucoup.
That one misses perhaps a bit inside, and 3-0 now the count on Marcotte. Here comes the 3-0 delivery, and that just misses outside, and Quebec gets their first base runner of the ball game as Marcotte reaches on a walk. That'll bring up Audrey-Anne Vachon.
Au bâton, le numéro 33, Audrey-Anne Vachon.
And the one thing I can say is that I believe this is Vachon's first appearance in the tournament. She didn't play in the first game, and she did not come in the second. So this is her first appearance. And the first pitch to Vachon misses high.
Audrey-Anne est originaire de Sept-Îles. Donc bonjour à tout le monde de Sept-Îles qui écoute le match.
That pitch misses high. And the count 2-0. Johnson starting to have a little bit of trouble finding the zone after a fantastic start. I'm sure she'll get it all back here shortly. There's a strike. And the count goes to 2-1.
Malgré qu'elle a lancé plusieurs balles, c'est quand même des tirs qui sont proches, qui sont rapprochés de la plaque. C'est pas des wild pitch comme on dit.
Here comes the 2-1. That one misses a bit outside, and it's now 3-1. And the catcher, Culleton, steps out to give Johnson a couple words of encouragement there, and Johnson gets herself settled back in. Not a really aggressive lead there by Marcotte. Swing and a miss, and the count runs full, 3-2. So now Marcotte will be able to go with the pitch with the 3-2 count and 2 away. Marcotte going and swung on and hit out into left field, and it ends up just missing foul. So Marcotte will have to head back over to first base. Vachon has to come back to the plate, and we'll do it all over again here with 3-2 the count, 1 on, 2 away here, top of the second inning. Manitoba leading 1-0. If you're just tuning in, thank you so much for joining us here at Mainland Common, part of the beautiful Canada Games facilities here in Halifax. Swung on, fouled off, and it will go into the mesh above the backstop, so we'll do it all over a third time. Vachon getting contact, just not quite getting it straightening out.
C'est sa première présence du tournoi, donc c'est sûr que un peu de nerfs, peut-être un petit peu nerveuse, mais elle semble très confiante tout de même, des bons élans.
Vachon with obviously with some important playing experience to be able to get to an event like this.
Ouais, ça fait tout de même plusieurs années, 15 ans qu'elle joue au baseball, donc commencé très jeune.
That pitch misses inside, and Vachon earns herself a walk. So back-to-back walks with 2 away will bring up Elodie Chamero, the catcher for Team Quebec.
Au bâton, le numéro 9, Elodie Chamero.
Chamero, we got a chance to see in both games yesterday, a player I was really impressed with. She battles hard behind the plate. She battles hard at the plate.
Très combative, je suis d'accord.
And takes the first pitch outside, ball 1.
Ça fait seulement 6 ans qu'elle joue au baseball, mais elle joue déjà dans la Ligue de Canada-Est avec les ailes. Donc, bravo, originaire de Saint-Hilaire. Donc, bonjour les gens de Mont-Saint-Hilaire.
Here comes the 1-0. That'll miss outside as well, 2-0. And now we'll get Culleton come all the way out to talk to Johnson.
C'est un signe d'un bon receveur qui reconnaît des fois que la lanceuse a besoin d'un petit rappel de sa stratégie.
And with the runner at second base for the first time in this game as well, maybe an opportunity to go over signs again and make sure that they are on the same page.
C'est quel indicateur qui va être le bon avec maintenant un espion au deuxième, une bonne conversation certain.
Here comes the 2-0 from Johnson to Chamero. Fouled straight back into the screen, and we'll have a 2-1 count now. Johnson certainly willing to pitch to contact. As we saw with the first 5 batters, getting them to either ground out or line out within the infield.
Ouais, je pense que Johnson, c'est pas nécessairement la puissance, c'est vraiment ce placement de sa balle qui l'importe. C'est C'est une athlète qui est évidemment pas énorme, mais c'est pas une grande joueuse. Elle est petite, un peu de stature, mais semble très bien contrôler ses lancers.
That pitch misses high and in. The count now 3-1. And stick around. The bottom of the second inning, we'll get our special guest to join us for a little bit. Looking forward to that. This one popped up left side of the infield, actually into foul territory. Over to make the catch is the first baseman, Amber Baker, and that will retire the side. So a couple of two-out walks do not harm Team Manitoba. Quebec gets no runs, no hits, no errors, but 2 runners left on base. We played 1.5. We'll go to the bottom of the second with Manitoba leading at 1-0. Due up for Manitoba. It is the 6, 7, 8 hitters, Amber Baker, Ella Holm, and Jewel Thompson. And we'll be back with you in just a second with our special guest, so stay tuned. Welcome back here as we get ready for the start of the second inning, and we are joined now by Kate Soda, an assistant coach with the Baseball Canada national team. Kate, first off, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
And you're here for the weekend, obviously doing a little bit of scouting, a little bit of watching some of the players that you already have with your team, and maybe some future players. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen so far and what you're happy with.
Just, we're really happy with the quality of baseball that we've seen, and we know this tournament is exciting for a lot of the girls to get together, get out here, and compete on this stage. So we're just looking forward to some more great baseball. The weather's been great today, and it's been far too long since I've been out on the East Coast, so I'm happy to be back here.
Let's talk a little bit about the development of female baseball in Canada, because you can't have success at the senior level unless you have success at the youth level, and Baseball Canada so willing and so able to develop young players into the senior level players that we see.
Yeah, definitely credit to a lot of the provinces. They provide some great opportunities for young players, and actually Quebec is probably leading the charge in that, and usually their prospect team is one of my most favorite teams to watch in this tournament, because you get so much energy and so much excitement from these young players, and we just never know who's coming up the pipeline until we see them. So it's a really great opportunity for us as a coaching staff, and it just speaks volumes to women's baseball in this country.
And Canada has had a lot of success at the senior level. Let's talk about some of the great memories that you've had representing Team Canada. I believe as a player before becoming a coach as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to spend 15 years with the program, played in a lot of World Cups. I think the thing that I would take away the most are the experiences that...
As that one ends up getting hooked foul, so the count remains 1-2 here with Amber Baker up to bat.
Yeah, just some great experiences with the program, being able to travel with people who become more like your family, and those are the memories that you take away.
I want to take you back to one World Cup in particular, the World Cup that was played in Edmonton, because that's actually, when I was in high school and university, I lived in Edmonton, so I know that ballpark quite well, and I'm sure that was such a special experience to be able to represent Canada on home soil.
Oh, amazing. We actually got to do it twice, once in 2004 as a shot.
And that will drop in for a base hit in front of the left fielder, Marcotte. So a leadoff single for Baker. And Manitoba back-to-back innings able to get their leadoff hitter on base. And a good start here for the team from Central Canada.
Yeah, that was a great piece of hitting. Nice little oppo shot there. Yeah, fortunate enough to get to do it twice, 2004 and 2012, and playing in front of a home crowd like that, there's really nothing like it.
And that ball field in Edmonton is such a beautiful facility as well.
Oh, it's fantastic.
There's another shot out towards left field. This one's going to hang up, though. Marcotte able to come in and make the catch. So a loud out there, and it's 1 on, 1 out. That'll bring up Jewel Thompson, the right fielder. Let's talk about some upcoming events for the women's national team. What is on the horizon here over the next, say, 12 months?
Okay, so we've got a second round of qualification coming up for our women's program. We're going to have the very challenging decision making to take 20 athletes to Thunder Bay for a tournament from August 8th to 12th, and we're looking forward to that. We're in a tough pool there. We get an automatic berth because we're hosting in 2024 again in Thunder Bay for the next edition of the Women's World Cup, but we're looking to come out, firing on all cylinders, and we want to go through the front door, not the back door.
Grounder to short, gathered in. This looks like a tailor-made double play. Over to second for one, across to first, not quite in time. A little bit of an issue there with the transfer for Noel, so not quite able to turn the double play, but now 2 out and still just a runner at first base. For those people who aren't aware, tell us who else is in that pool that you're going to be playing with in this qualification tournament in Thunder Bay.
Sure, so we've got Mexico, we've got Australia, the United States, we've got Korea and Hong Kong with us.
So that is definitely going to be a very challenging pool, certainly. Obviously, Australia always has a good program. The United States, you talk about U.S. and baseball, it goes hand in hand. So definitely those two teams, Mexico obviously as well, going to be a very big challenge.
Yeah, I mean, at the international level, you really can't take any games off. Any team can come back and bite you at any time. So we're looking forward to a great tournament there and seeing what our should be a fairly young team can do, and we're looking forward to growing with them.
There's a pop fly into shallow center field. Coming in and making the catch is our center fielder, Audrey-Anne Vachon. So a pretty quick inning, half inning for us to have with you, Kate, but thank you very much for joining us. Good luck in Thunder Bay, and not only in a couple of weeks, but again next summer. And again, thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you.
That is Kate Soda, assistant coach of the Canadian national team. Oops, as I turned down the wrong microphone. Assistant coach of the Canadian national team. Thank you again, Kate, for joining us, and we'll be back with you for the start of the third inning in just a moment, and we'll get Eric to run us through that in just a second. And now we are back, so let's get you through what we're going to see in the top of the third inning. We're going to start with the number 9 hitter for Team Quebec.
Mais voilà, Kiara Labrie qui va commencer l'alignement, qui est la frappeuse à la 9e position. On revient au début de l'alignement avec Océane Lambert et Frédéric Noël, ainsi que Megan Veilleux qui frapperait au 4e rang.
And Eric, you got a chance to listen in on some of that conversation with Kate, and it's pretty exciting for us to be able to talk to one of the assistant coaches with the national team and see how excited she is about the state of women's baseball in this country.
Oui, je suis d'accord. On voit une énorme croissance du baseball féminin. C'est excitant. Plusieurs de ces joueurs sont ici. Évidemment, ils jouent pour leurs provinces respectives, mais quand même se retrouvent dans l'équipe nationale aux moments importants. Mais de voir l'importance et l'emphase qu'on met maintenant sur le baseball féminin, c'est pas juste quelques filles qui sont rajoutées dans l'alignement, mais vraiment des équipes complètes et des programmes complets pour les encourager. Fait que on est très chanceux de pouvoir être là en fin de semaine et d'en participer.
As we get ready for the top of the third inning, Manitoba still leading at 1-0. Kira Labrie getting her first plate appearance of this game. As Johnson still out there on the mound. Fouled back into the screen, and the count goes to 0-1. And we've talked about pitching in this tournament so much. We're seeing great pitching from Johnson. We're seeing great pitching from Veilleux here through the first 2 innings. And with today being Friday and the tournament only going until Sunday, we're now at the point where pitchers who start are probably going to be getting their one big appearance of the whole tournament. So we'll probably see pitchers go a lot deeper into today's games than we did yesterday.
Je pense que tu as raison. C'est sûr que hier, un peu, c'était préparatif. On voulait un peu juger le talent qu'on voyait également. Mais voilà que je suis d'accord. Je pense qu'on va voir plus de profondeur dans les manches. Il faut dire qu'aussi que Johnson n'a lancé que seulement 32 lancés après 3 manches. C'est une très bonne moyenne à date.
The leadoff single by Kira Labrie out to right field brings up Océane Lambert. Lambert popped out to the third baseman, her first time up. Throw over to first.
Lambert n'a vu qu'un lancer. Elle s'est lancée sur le premier lancer du match. Donc, souhaitons qu'elle fasse travailler un peu plus Johnson.
We didn't even have time to get through the Manitoba defense by the time that first pitch had gone through. As we did start the game a little bit early. I'm going to have a little chat with Baseball Canada about starting too soon, but that's as the throw does get there, but not able to squeeze the ball and get the tag laid down is Ella Home, and the stolen base for Labrie.
Oui, le lancer était là. Malheureusement, la joueuse de deuxième but n'a pas pu contrôler le lancer pour faire le retrait.
A good throw down, but yeah, Home just not quite able to get the grasp on it, like you said, and now a runner in scoring position with nobody out and a 2-0 count here on Lambert. As Johnson gets herself set here, working with a 1-0 lead. Grounder to short, that's going to hold Labrie, and they're going to try and go back and get Labrie. They'll get her into a rundown. Labrie caught in a rundown here. The tag is made, and Lambert not able to move anywhere beyond first base. So the fielder's choice, and if you're scoring with us at home, the fielder's choice goes 6-4-5 if you are doing the scoring along with us at home. I know a lot of people don't, but just in case anybody is. I was the type of kid growing up, if I was watching a game, I was also scoring along with it. So.
Oui. On allait voir les matchs des expos avec notre fiche, des marqueurs sur nos genoux, mais c'était un très bon jeu de l'arrêt court là-dessus pour remarquer qu'elle avait une chance de retirer l'abri.
I remember watching Expos games, but of course I would watch them in English with Dave Van Horn, who's now doing games for the Miami Marlins on radio. I have my MLB app that I listen to. I just pick random games sometimes to listen to, and was on a Miami Marlins game, and I heard Dave Van Horn's voice, and I just about fell over. It's good to hear that he's still heavily involved in the game.
Tout à fait. Dave, une voix légendaire pour nous au Québec, ainsi que Claude Raymond, Denis Casavant. On a eu tellement de bons animateurs au Québec pour évidemment encourager le baseball.
You know, as somebody doing play-by-play, I always try to find those guys who I really admired when I started, and try to emulate their styles a little bit. And Van Horn, one of those guys that you'll never be able to copy but he is so good and so fun to listen to. Harry Carey, of course, was one. If you're a baseball fan of a certain age and you don't know who Harry Carey is, then you're not a real baseball fan if you're of that age.
Il y a aussi Vince Scully.
Oh, of course.
Tellement de bons. Joe Morgan, tellement de bons.
Bob Costas.
Bob Costas, c'est sûr que il n'y a pas juste le baseball dans son répertoire, mais vraiment, il y a des très très bons. On est chanceux d'avoir eu des golden age, comme on dit, des annonceurs presque.
You mentioned Claude Raymond, one of the great French announcers. Who were some of the others that you got to see en français?
Well, Denis Casavant was important. He did the play-by-play.
As the ball bobbled out in right field there. So that'll be an error on the right fielder, Jewel Thompson. That'll put runners at the corners with one away and bring up the pitcher, Megan Veilleux.
Oui, malheureusement, on aurait dit une balle qui aurait dû être attrapée, qui est tombée, frappé son gant, donc elle était à la bonne place, mais un petit effort.
Might have been that the sun got into her eyes a little bit there, perhaps.
Possiblement. Ça peut être un facteur ce matin, je crois, mais en tout et tout, je pense que le terrain est quand même bien placé. Le soleil serait du côté du premier but, donc possiblement. Mais...
I like to try and give players a little bit of a benefit of the doubt whenever I can.
Si jamais de leur faute. Hein?
I know that if I ever played at a level where somebody was doing commentary, not that I ever did in any sport, but if I did, I would have appreciated getting a little bit of help from the commentator, certainly.
Oui, on a le parent qui est toujours encourageant et jamais critique.
2-0 now the count here on Veilleux with runners on the corners, one away. Here in the top of the third inning, Manitoba leading at 1-0. If you're just tuning in, Manitoba got their run in the bottom of the first. And that pitch bounced in. That's going to be a wild pitch that will lead to the game-tying run as Lambert able to score from third base. And the count now 3-0 on Johnson. Or 3-0 on Veilleux, excuse me, from Johnson.
Tout à fait, les lanceuses qui s'affrontent.
And Frédéric Noël able to move into scoring position, as well as the run coming home from third base. Lambert able to score. That pitch misses high and outside.
Une erreur comme ça dans le terrain qui mène immédiatement un point qui suit. C'est malheureux, évidemment, cette balle attrapée au champ droit. On voit peut-être pas deux coureurs sur les sentiers dans le moment.
So, runners on first and second now, still just the one out. Eleanor Desbois coming up to bat, and as you mentioned, 2 walks and an error have led to the 3 Quebec base runners that we've seen in this inning. One, of course, then replaced on that fielder's choice. That one hooked foul, and the 0-1 count. As Dixon coming in to help us out, get our levels to sound a little bit better here.
Merci, Dixon.
Got to give huge credit to Dixon, who's our technical guru, and our fantastic camera person just off to our left here as well, doing a great job. We very much appreciate everybody's efforts to help us sound good, and not that we have to worry about looking good because we never end up on the camera, but
No face for radio.
my father-in-law's favorite line when he describes me as well. That pitch misses just a little bit low, the count now 2-1. Noël on...
Activité dans l'enclos des releveurs pour Manitoba. Il envoie quelqu'un se préparer, remplacer Johnson.
As that one will get through the middle of the infield. Runner at third has to hold as it wasn't very deep, and a strong throw in from Senf. Good decision there by the Quebec coach to hold up Noël at third. And the base is now loaded with one away and brings up the first baseman, Alexandra Lacroix.
La balle qui a passé entre les jambes de Johnson, frappée solidement. Elle a fait ce qu'elle peut pour essayer, mais en tant que lanceur, des fois, on est un peu vulnérable sur le monticule.
And one of the hardest jobs as a third base coach sometimes is making that decision. Do you send the runner or not? Especially if you're not familiar with the arms of the outfielders you're facing. And very wise decision made to put up the stop sign there.
Ben, je crois que dans le moment, le Québec ont du momentum. Ils veulent pas briser le momentum avec un retrait qui serait regrettable dans cette situation-là.
Yeah, you never want to make an out at home. You never want to make an out at third if at all possible. And yeah, those are certainly, as you say, momentum killers in a big way. And Quebec certainly does have the momentum right now. Base is loaded, just one away, and a 1-0 count for Lacroix. Lacroix grounded out to second base, her first time up. 1-1 the score. And the game over at Weir Field just underway as well. We'll keep you updated on what's going on there throughout the morning. And that game is in the A division, or is also a B pool game between Ontario 2 and Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan 1-0 after their victory over Nova Scotia last night, and Ontario 2 1-1 after, they're 0-2 after losses yesterday to Quebec 2 and this Manitoba team. And they're just in the bottom of the first inning there, no score as of yet from Weir Field. And again, you can bounce back and forth all day here on AO Live.
But stay here.
But stay here, yeah. 3-1 right now, the count on Lacroix.
Qui est une athlète de Blainville, qui est originaire de Blainville. Et voilà. Point produit avec son but sur balle.
Blainville For hockey fans, of course, the home of the Armada in the Quebec Major Junior League. And a walk drives in a run. So Lacroix will get the RBI for earning that walk as Frédéric Noël comes across the plate to score and brings up Charlie Marcotte, who walked last inning. Quick meeting at the mound first as Manitoba coaches see something that they want to talk to Johnson about.
Last call for your 50-50 tickets. See the two young gentlemen going to the
And the Manitoba infield going to be drawn in here with the bases loaded and just one away. So they're not going to, and they've got the infield drawn in at all positions, so they're not going to try and get a double play in the middle of the infield. They're going to try and cut down the run and
Limiter les dommages.
End this rally if at all possible. 2 runs already in here in the top of the third.
Ooh.
And that one out to center field. The catch made. And after we saw the strong throw from Senf earlier this inning, no sending of the runner, no risk being taken there.
La balle n'était pas très profonde. On s'assure qu'il y a vraiment si la balle est plus profonde, on est là.
And so Veilleux stays at third base as that was a shallow fly ball, and bases still loaded, but now 2 away. Very important out there for Johnson to get. Now she's got Audrey-Anne Vachon, excuse me, up at the plate. Vachon walked her first time up last inning. And takes a first pitch ball, 1-0 the count on the Quebec 2 center fielder.
Elle étudie pour être ambulancière, Audrey-Anne.
Fly ball, back part of the infield, caught by the shortstop, Caitlin Hepner, for the 3rd out of the inning. So a rally by Quebec does put 2 runs on the board with just 2 hits. It was 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and the bases left loaded. So Quebec does take the lead 2-1, but they could have had a lot more if not for some efficient 2-out pitching by Jamie Johnson. We'll go to the top of the bottom of the 3rd, excuse me, and it'll be the top of the order for Team Manitoba. Caitlin Culleton, Zoe Hicks, and Mercedes Gorham due up for Manitoba, with Quebec now leading for the first time in this game by a score of 2-1. And we'll give you another quick update here, what's going on next door, or not next door, but over in Upper Sackville. I think we had this conversation yesterday, whether it was Upper or Lower Sackville. I was wrong. It is Upper Sackville where Weirfield is. And a 3-0 lead for Saskatchewan. We saw their potent offense last night, and they're picking up right where they left off here this morning with 3 runs in the bottom of the 1st, and they're still batting with a runner on and 2 away. So
c'est difficile pour Ontario 2 dans le tournoi à date. Ils ne peuvent pas se permettre de perdre ce match-là encore. C'est do or die pour eux, comme on dit.
Yeah, if they drop to 0-3, they're obviously at that point mathematically eliminated from a chance to make it to the quarterfinals, and will end up in some placement games. Oh, Ontario 2 is 1-1. Okay.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry. The results all start to blur together.
Yeah,
after
it's so much baseball over 2 days.
Right. Ontario 2 beat this Quebec team. And then this Quebec team
Go back to our
beat
Number 7, Caitlin
and the Quebec team.
Culleton.
No, Quebec beat Ontario 2 beat Quebec.
I think Quebec only has.
Quebec is 0-2.
Is 0-2. That's
Quebec
what I'm
is 0-2. That's where. Okay.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose this one.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Thank you very much. The results all start to blend together after, especially because we did 2 Ontario versus Quebec games back to back. One was won by Ontario, one was won by Quebec, and then
there you go.
you start mixing them up in your head, and yeah. So yes, this Quebec team is 0-2, Manitoba 1-0 coming into this game, and right now Caitlin Culleton up to bat. She has the only Manitoba run so far in this game. She walked to lead off the first inning and did come around to score on that RBI double by Zoe Hicks. So led off the first with a walk, leading off the third here, and ahead in the count 2-1. And takes a pitch just high out of the zone. Great discipline there to lay off of that pitch. I would have probably wanted to chase after that. It looked good coming in from my angle.
Oh.
Chases that one upstairs though, and the count now runs full, 3-2.
Beau lancer de Veilleux là-dessus. Regardez, dans la zone des prises, mais un peu haute, mais tout à fait un beau lancer.
And Culleton pulls that one foul, so we'll get another 3-2 pitch for her. Culleton, the epitome of the student athlete, as she's in medical school right now at the University of Manitoba. And
une fan des Savannah Bananas. Si on connaît l'équipe un peu, c'est loufoque, mais c'est intéressant.
The Bananas, very fun to watch. And, you know, I think of the Harlem Globetrotters and the Savannah Bananas as...
Dans la même catégorie.
Exactly, yeah. Culleton draws her second walk of the game, and that'll bring up Zoe Hicks. Hicks, as you remember, a hard hit ball into right center field in the first inning. She drove in Culleton with that big double, and a chance as Culleton gets back on the throw over. And we've already seen one successful pickoff from Veilleux this morning, so Culleton does have to be careful. And now a throw down to first from Chimera. And again, Culleton has to dive back.
On craint la vitesse de Culleton, je crois.
As the 1-0 count. That first pitch did miss a little bit inside. The 1-0 a strike at the knees, and it's now 1-1 on the Manitoba third baseman.
Qui est dans l'organisation des Dodgers de Los Angeles. Elle fait du travail dans le baseball mineur pour les Dodgers.
Dodgers having a great year right now.
Non, tout à fait.
Of course, they had a good series against Toronto just a few days ago.
Évidemment, son équipe préférée, c'est les Dodgers.
And Mookie Betts as her favorite player. That's not a bad player to try to emulate. 2-1 the count here on Hicks. That one popped up left side. It may drop foul, and it does. So now the count runs to 2-2. One on, nobody out here.
That was the wrong one?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
They switched their head. I turned you off.
Yeah. And a grounder that gets through the left side of the infield. That'll put runners at first and second as Hicks goes to 2 for 2 on the day. And that'll bring up Mercedes Gorham. She struck out her first time up. So first and second, nobody out here. Manitoba looking to climb back into a lead possibly. They led earlier in this game 1-0 after scoring in the bottom of the first. Quebec with 2 in the top of the third to take the lead, and now here we are, bottom of the third. Manitoba threatening again. Veilleux with a couple of looks back to second, and now she'll deliver. That one high into the air, shallow center field. Coming in and making the catch is Audrien Vachon for the first out of the inning, and that ball shallow center field, so no chance for Culleton to advance there.
On dirait que les ballons dans le champ aussi sont plus faciles aujourd'hui, mais moins de vent. Donc, on dirait que les joueuses ont plus de facilité à repérer le ballon.
Leah Peitsch now coming up. She walked her first time up, ended up getting picked off with that great move from Veilleux back in the first inning. Swing and a foul tip there, or perhaps it was a swing and a miss, as that ball was still live. I thought I heard a foul tip, but I guess not, as Blanchette indicating that the play was still live. Peitsch, quite the multi-sport athlete. Volleyball, hockey, basketball, weightlifting, skateboarding, mountain biking, and apparently a little bit of baseball too. That
On
pitch. When does she find the time? That's my only question. That pitch missed high. The count now 1-1. Vea, lots of checks of second base there, then delivers, and the pitch just misses. 2-1. One away here, bottom of the third inning.
Situation de chandelle intérieure.
Swing and a miss there, and the count now goes to 2-2. Chasing one down in the zone and a little bit to the outside as well. Peitsch not quite able to get onto that.
Un bel élan, mais
Here comes the 2-2.
Ooh.
Launched out to left field. But back and making the catch is Marcotte.
Frappé d'aplomb, mais dans le gant du champ gauche.
It was deep, but not deep enough, and that'll bring up Caitlin Hepner. Hepner flew out to right field to end the first inning. Comes up here with 2 on and 2 out. And time is called. As coming in for a conversation with her pitcher is Frédéric Noël.
Caitlin, elle a déjà joué du baseball professionnel en Suisse.
Oh, wow.
Je savais même pas qu'il y avait du baseball professionnel en Suisse.
Just shows that the growth of the game has truly become global. Grounder to third, knocked down by Labrie, and she'll just touch her own bag as there was a force play there. So a walk and a single to start the inning gives Manitoba a chance to threaten, but 3 straight outs after that puts the threat aside. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 runners left on base. We played 3 complete, and Quebec, looking for their first win of the tournament, lead it by a score of 2-1. Due up for Quebec in the top of the 4th. It is 8-9-1.
Donc, Élodie Chiamaro, Kiara Labrie et Océane Lambert, les 3 premières frappeuses. On revient au début de l'alignement bientôt.
And out there for her 4th inning of the work, it is Jamie Johnson. So as we expected, Johnson is going to be the pitcher for as many pitches as she's allowed for the tournament. This is going to be her 1 appearance. And for Manitoba, obviously, when you've got another game later today and you've still got another round-robin game tomorrow, you want to be able to ride Johnson for as many innings as possible. If you can get a complete game out of her, that would be fantastic. If not, at least get her deep into this game so that you're not using your bullpen too much.
Tout à fait. Je pense que la stratégie est là. Donner une chance à Johnson d'aller quand même profondément. Un accordé seulement que 2 points à date. Le match est encore très serré, donc il n'y a aucune panique. On peut continuer avec ce qui fonctionne pour eux dans le moment. Et puis, évidemment, comme on l'a vu hier, le Manitoba a de très bons frappeurs. Bon, comme on le croit, évidemment, on commence à le voir.
And so, with Quebec leading it here, and the inning started for Elodie Chamero. She popped out to first, her first time up in foul territory. Chamero, the catcher for Team Quebec here this morning. First pitch to Chamero, misses outside, 1-0 the count. The forecast originally was calling for a possibility of rain today, but that forecast certainly has changed, as the last time I looked at the weather app this morning, it was certainly far brighter than than yesterday looked that today was going to be.
Tout à fait. Une merveilleuse journée, une très belle journée pour du baseball, c'est certain.
And hopefully the weather stays like this for the day and stays like this for the evening as well, as last night we had quite the fog roll in. That pitch misses high, 2-1. It certainly made for some challenging conditions last night for Nova Scotia and Saskatchewan.
Oui, nos collègues de Eastlink mentionnaient que c'est pas la télé qui va être embrouillée, c'est le ciel.
And speaking of Saskatchewan, they are back on the field this morning. And a quick update from Weir. They still lead it 3-0 against Ontario 2, who come into that game with a record of 1-1. Saskatchewan coming into that game with a record of 1-0. And the count is full here on Elodie Chimero, leading off the fourth inning here in this one. They're in the bottom of the second over at Weir Field with Saskatchewan with that 3-0 lead. Johnson delivers the 3-2. Grounder to the left side of the infield, gathered up by the shortstop across the diamond, and it ends up pulling the first baseman Baker off of the bag. The throw from Hepner just a little bit wide. Great effort there by Baker to make the catch, but unfortunately for her, the throw did pull her off the bag, so a throwing error from Hepner gets Chimero on base to lead off the top of the fourth.
Oui, Baker, très beau jeu pour empêcher la balle de passer et puis de donner peut-être possiblement un autre coussin à Chamaro.
That'll bring up Kira Labrie. She singled to lead off the third inning. Got eliminated on a fielder's choice. Labrie made the play to end the bottom of the third with a nice stop on a ground ball to her. Shows bunt and does get a piece of the ball, but ends up sending it foul.
Un amorti manqué, malheureusement.
Bunting really one of the lost arts in the game, at least at the major league level. You hardly ever see it anymore, where it's such an important, or used to be such an important strategic part of the game.
Tout à fait. Même avec le shift qui est plus dans le baseball professionnel, mais le gros shift de la tendance, je me demandais toujours pourquoi on faisait pas plus de bunt quand on n'avait plus personne au troisième.
Yeah. Yes, mostly it's power hitters that they do the shift for, and a power hitter to ask them to try and lay one down sometimes is difficult, but if you got all that open acreage, why not?
Ah, tout à fait. Il n'y a personne qui te couvre.
0-2 the count. That pitch misses high and inside. Runner going, and what a throw! What a throw by Caitlin Cullenton. First has to make the catch on that inside pitch, then get up and make that throw and eliminate Elodie Chimero.
Je crois que le lancer était derrière le frappeur aussi, si je me trompe pas.
And fantastic. And give Kira Labrie credit. She did a good job of staying out of the way, making sure she didn't cause an interference.
Des fois, il faut juste rester tranquille. C'est pas toujours évident de le faire.
That pitch misses high. The count now 2-2 with the bases now empty and one away. So the error that led to a base runner gets eliminated. And I'm sure Hepner appreciates the help that she got on that one. Hepner, the one who actually ended up laying down the tag as well. So
un peu de rédemption.
3-2 now the count again on Labrie, and even though Johnson is going to pitch to her maximum number of pitches, anything that extends a pitch count, and she has gone deep into a lot of counts, is going to have an impact on how many batters she's going to be able to face. And this one-out walk will bring up Océane Lambert. Lambert popped out in the first and then reached on a fielder's choice in the third, ended up coming around to score at the time was the game-tying run.
Voici une discussion avec Steve Auger avec Skyler Blanchette derrière la montre. Oh, je crois qu'on a fait une substitution. Labrie retourne au banc. On met une coureuse pinch runner.
Oh, we've got a pinch runner and we've got a pitching change. Coming into the game is Darby Poole. So with only 70-some, can't quite see the number, 70-some pitches, I guess, Johnson will be available for Sunday. I can't imagine taking out Johnson at this point unless the number is such that it keeps her available for Sunday.
Well, elle a eu un peu de misère à trouver la plaque dans ses derniers frappeurs. Elle n'a pas été mauvaise, là, mais tout de même, un autre but sur balle, c'est peut-être que l'entraîneur cherchait, dit bon, un autre but sur balle et on la remplace. Souvent, c'est on se met des milestones dans la tête en tant qu'entraîneur.
So Darby Poole now in the game as the new pitcher, and we'll try and get the number of the pinch runner for Labrie.
Je crois que c'est...
Can't quite see her number from here. I want to say it's Ouimet.
Ça se peut que ce soit Ouimet, Mélodie Ouimet, qui était receveur hier. Je sais qu'ils l'ont mis en situation dans le premier match qu'on a fait. Elle est aussi rentrée comme coureur substitut.
So, Melody Ouimet coming in as a pinch runner. And as we mentioned, Darby Poole in as the new pitcher for Team Manitoba here, coming in, inheriting a runner on first, one out. And with Johnson still responsible for that runner at first base, she gave up 2 runs. One of them was earned on 2 hits, and she also walked 5 batters. So 2 runs, 1 earned on 2 hits and 5 walks. No strikeouts for Johnson.
Après la première manche où Johnson a lancé presque seulement 9 ou 10 lancés, elle était bien partie, mais évidemment, comme tu le dis, aucun retrait sur les prises. Et c'est peut-être pour ça aussi qu'on la remplace.
So Océane Lambert, as we mentioned, 0 for 2, popped out in the first, reached on a fielder's choice, and did come around to score in the third. And is the first batter to face Poole, and Poole starts off with a strike. So 0-1 the count here on Lambert. Throw over to first, and Ouimet. And now we can see the number, it is 21, so it is Melody Ouimet.
Je l'ai reconnu un peu hier, grand élancé. Elle a quand même un gabarit reconnaissable.
The 0-1 pitch misses outside, 1-1 now the count. And we'll quickly let you know that it is still the bottom of the second inning over at Weir Field. Saskatchewan still leading that one 3-0. Ooh, that one will be pulled foul, almost into the beer tent.
Oh, faut faire attention au beer tent.
So do we get beer for the broadcast as well?
Peut-être dimanche, ça va dépendre.
A little early in the morning yet.
Happy hour somewhere.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. What would Jimmy Buffett do? As Lambert asks for and receives time.
Toujours une bonne stratégie. On sent des fois un peu de tension à attendre le lanceur.
Poole gets herself set and gets ready to deliver the 1-2. That'll miss in the dirt. 2-2.
Poole est très méthodique dans sa motion. Très concentrée. Elle fait elle livre la balle avec beaucoup d'intention.
And behind the plate, Culleton, another nice block as well. That one popped up foul first base side, and not able to get there was Baker. Baker had a hard angle to try and get to that ball as well, as it was pretty much directly over your head, and those are always the toughest ones to find when you're having to run and it's directly behind you coming to you like that.
Tout à fait, absolument. On ne sait pas quel côté tourner la tête.
I think only Willie Mays can make it look easy.
Willie Mays faisait tout facile.
There's a hard hit out to right field.
Ça devrait pousser au troisième.
Hit a little bit too hard to allow Ouimet to try and make it from first to third on a hit to right, but it does put runners at first and second with one away, and bring up Frédéric Noël. Noël 0 for 2. Reached on an error last inning and did come around to score as well.
Frédéric, une joueuse originaire de Bois-des-Filions.
Okay.
Not far from Blainville.
Okay. My Quebec geography not as strong as Nova Scotia, certainly.
Whenever there's a junior major team, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I admit a lot of my geography knowledge is based on how it relates to sports.
Ooh.
That one misses high, and it gets over the head of Culleton, and that'll allow both runners to advance. And it also gives Noel a 2-0 or a 2-0 count. And as good of a catcher as Culleton is, nobody is going to be able to get to one that high, unfortunately.
C'est difficile quand on est accroupi de sauter à cette distance-là.
That one will miss down in the dirt, and now the count 3-0.
Très bonne opportunité ici pour l'équipe Québec. Rajouter un peu de points à leur avance.
As you can hear, the wind starting to pick up a little bit. And that one will miss in the dirt as well. Ball 4 loads the bases.
Plusieurs lancers qui ont été au sol dans cette, avec ce frappeur.
And that will bring up Megan Veilleux, the pitcher with a chance to help her own cause here. Veilleux 0 for 1 on the day, grounded back to the pitcher in the first, walked in the third, ended up being stranded at third base. Veilleux up this time with the bases loaded and just one away, and Manitoba draws the whole infield in yet again. Poole delivers right at the letters for a strike, 0-1. Poole getting to go with the full windup now. That one will miss low and get away from Culleton, and that will allow everybody to move up, and Ouimet comes in to score. So it's now 3-1, and runners at second and third with one away.
Poole semble un peu de difficulté avec son contrôle.
She's going to have to find it soon, though, if she wants to keep her team within close distance. But we saw yesterday that a big deficit does not bother Team Manitoba. They were down by 6.
On peut pas toujours jouer avec le feu, par contre.
I'm sure fans watching from Ontario don't want me to keep reminding them about that. That one pulled foul. Good swing by Veilleux, but she was a little too far out in front.
Cette fausse balle, elle a voyagé très loin.
So the count now 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out to throw the deuces wild out of out of sync. Another one pulled foul. If Veilleux can just slow that swing down just a hair, she's going to launch one.
Reculer un peu dans la boîte peut-être aussi.
Count remains 2-2. This one popped up right to the middle of the infield. Coming in to make the catch is the third baseman Hicks for the second out of the inning.
J'ai bien aimé que Hicks a tout de suite appelé la balle pour empêcher le lanceur à essayer de faire un jeu là-dessus.
You don't want your pitcher trying to come off the mound while looking up for a pop fly like that. Brings up Eleanor Desblois. She's 1 for 2. Grounded out in the second, singled in the third, and now batting here with 2 on, 2 out in the fourth.
Ooh.
First pitch sails all the way to the backstop, and that'll move everybody up another 90 feet and bring in another run, making it 4-2, or 4-1, excuse me. And now Frederic Noel at third base. So the RBI opportunity for Desblois still very much in play with 2 away.
Deux points comptés sur les balles passées, ça fait mal.
And those last couple that got by Culleton had no chance at all.
Non, Colleton n'avait aucune chance là-dessus. C'était un bon 10-15 pieds au-dessus de sa tête.
Second pitch to Desblois just misses. 2-0 now. That one will miss down in the dirt. Culleton able to get in front of that one, and it's 3-0. For Culleton, if she can reach it, she can block it. There's just...
Yeah, c'est ça. Ouh, frappé fort.
Just through the middle of the infield. That will score another run. So Desblois, with her second hit of the game, gets an RBI this time around. It's now 5-1, as Quebec has put up 2 in the third and 3 here in the fourth. And they're still going with Alexandra Lacroix.
Une visite de l'entraîneur.
And I think the big message here is throw strikes.
Voilà, l'équipe technique qui apporte un peu d'eau aux entraîneurs. Il fait chaud sur le terrain, j'en suis certain. Donc, bravo.
It is certainly a lot warmer out there today than it was yesterday.
Tout à fait. On voit dans la couleur de l'entraîneur, de l'arbitre au marbre, Skyler Blanchette, un peu de rose dans ses joues.
I wonder what her stepmom's saying to her there. So the umpires get a little bit of a drink while they can, and now we're ready to resume.
En tant qu'entraîneur, s'il n'y a pas d'arbitre qui me guette, par contre, je reste là autant que je peux.
Alexandra Lacroix stepping in. She's 0 for 1.
Une autre belle passée.
And that one, unfortunately, we will have to put on Culleton as
Passée entre ses jambes.
Desblois able to get to second base. Lacroix, we mentioned 0 for 1, grounded out to second in the second, walked and drove in a run in the third. So she does have an RBI on the day. That one ends up catching a piece of Lacroix, so she'll head down to first base.
Ça a frappé la croix, ça a frappé l'arbitre. C'était un peu un pinball.
Might have caught a little bit of the glove as well, and that's going to bring another meeting at the mound, which means that...
La journée de poule est peut-être terminée au monticule.
And looking to see where the new pitcher will be coming from, and it looks like it's going to be the person who had been playing shortstop, Caitlin Hepner, who will take over on the mound. And we're going to see another change as well, as Leah Peich will move from DH out into the outfield. And Mercedes Gorham, who had been playing left field.
Je crois qu'elle change son gant pour aller à l'intérieur.
Yeah, she's, as you say, changing an outfield glove for an infield glove. So Gorham will move from left field to shortstop. Hepner will move from shortstop to first base, or to pitcher, excuse me. And Peich will move from DH out to left field. So that means the Manitoba team will lose their DH for the remainder of the game. And we'll get our first look at Caitlin Hepner as a pitcher here, the third pitcher of the day for Team Manitoba.
Deuxième dans cette manche. Ben, troisième, en fait, dans cette manche. Même.
Yes, third of this inning, you're right. As Johnson did start the inning, faced two batters, and then Poole came in.
Poole manquait beaucoup de contrôle aujourd'hui. Il s'est lancé, évidemment, les balles passées, remplir les buts et pousser les joueurs avec des mauvais lancers. C'était une bonne décision de la changer, je crois.
And for Johnson, the runner that Poole inherited, which was Ouimet, did come in to score, so Johnson ends up giving up 3 runs. Poole responsible for the two of the 3 runs that came in this inning. She's also responsible still for the 2 runners on base. Gets credit for 1/3 of an inning, giving up the 2 runs so far on 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 hit batter. And again, Johnson, 3 runs on those, as we mentioned earlier, 3 runs on those 2 hits, as well as the 4 walks. 1 of the runs unearned. And so now it is, as we mentioned, Caitlin Hepner, the new pitcher, and the first batter that she will face is Charlie Marcotte. Marcotte 0 for 1, flew out in the 3rd, walked in the 2nd, and was stranded at second base. And the first pitch from Hepner in for a strike. And again, the new shortstop is Mercedes Gorham. She had been playing left field, and Peich goes from DH out to left field as we suspected. So there's your defensive realignment for Manitoba. 1-1 now the count.
Marcotte, la frappeuse, fan de Beau Bichette. Évidemment, un bon joueur à émuler.
I think Bichette has a lot of female fans as well. Swing and a miss there. The count goes to 2-2. I know he's one of my wife's favorite players as well.
Son père était tout un joueur de baseball aussi. Dante, un excellent joueur de baseball.
Second generation player, of course, son of Bo, or son of, yes, Bo.
Dante Bichette, no?
Or Dante, yeah, right. He's Bo, son of Dante. Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
and
beau travail.
A strikeout for Hepner ends the inning and ends the rally. 3 runs in for Quebec in the top of the 4th inning. And those 3 runs coming on just 2 hits. There were 3 walks as well. 2 walks and a hit by pitch as well. So 3 runs on 2 hits, no error, or 1 error, and 2 runners left on base. We've played 3.5, and Quebec now extending their lead to 5-1 over Manitoba. Due up for Manitoba in the bottom of the 4th inning. It will be Amber Baker, Ella Holm, and Jewel Thompson. And if anyone gets on, then Horizon Senf will continue the bottom of the 4th inning.
Veilleux qui ressort pour une autre manche.
And Ontario, too, has now tied up their game against Saskatchewan. It's 3-3 in the bottom of the 3rd. Saskatchewan with 3 in the bottom of the 1st. Ontario with 3 in the top of the 3rd to reply. And Saskatchewan now batting in the bottom of the 3rd. So that game tightening up again. And again, while we end up being in between games a little later on today, you can switch over to Weir, rewind that feed, watch some of that game back, flip back and forth as many times as you want here on AOTV. We have every single pitch, every single inning from this entire tournament will be available right here on AOTV, and AOTV so proud to be working with Baseball Canada again for this event. I know Chaba Demokos, who does all of the setup of everything at the top levels, and then of course Dixon Cho, who's running all the technical elements here on site, doing a great job for us, and we appreciate all of their hard work. As the first pitch to Amber Baker misses inside. Baker singled in the second inning, was retired on a fielder's choice, and is ahead in the count here, 2-0. Thought about swinging there, but held the bat back and takes a strike. That pitch just misses, and it's now 3-1. Speaking of classic broadcasters, Bob Uecker.
Ouh, Charlie Doyle dans le film, il s'appelait.
Yeah. Uecker, of course, still doing Milwaukee Brewers broadcasts. Listen to him on radio every now and then, or on the MLB app through the radios.
Oh.
And that one sent out to left field, and it will drop in fair territory. So Baker with her second hit in as many plate appearances, now 2 for 2. And that'll bring up Ella Holm. Holm flew out to left field her first time up. Great effort out in left field there by Marcotte, but just couldn't quite get to that ball. Dropping in just inside the foul line. First pitch to Holm misses high, ball 1. And for Manitoba, this a real important bounce back inning after giving up 2 in the top of the third and 3 in the top of the fourth. Ooh. And there's a shot just over the head of the third baseman, Armand.
Yeah, Malaya Armand qui est rentré au troisième but. On n'a pas remarqué la substitution.
So yeah, a quick update there. Melody Ouimet pinch ran in the top of the fourth. Now she comes out of the game as Malaya Armand comes in to play third base. And that single sent over the head of Armand moves Baker up to second. So first and second, nobody out. Jewel Thompson up to bat. Oh. And she hits the first pitch out to left field. And that'll move everybody up another 90 feet. 3 batters, 3 singles to left, and the bases are loaded for Manitoba as they are threatening here in the bottom of the fourth. Brings up Horizon Senf, the center fielder. She flew out to center her first time up. As Megan Vailleux taking...
Voici Steve Auger qui rentre toutes ses troupes pour discuter un petit peu.
And 3 hard hit balls out to left here early on in this fourth inning.
C'est comme les premières balles qu'on frappe solidement avec Veilleux, à part d'un grand double ou en première manche.
So Veilleux will continue here. Try and get herself out of this jam with the bases loaded, nobody out. And after Senf, we're flipping the order back up to the top again. So she's got, including Senf here, she's got 4 straight left-handers that she's going to face. This one popped up. And making the catch is the first baseman, Alexandra Lacroix, for the first out of the inning. And to get that pop-up, very important. Runners not able to move anywhere.
It was an infield fly, though.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so the runners wouldn't have been able to move anyway.
Well, they could, at their own risk.
Yes. Caitlin Culleton comes up now. She's technically not had an at-bat yet in this game, as her 2 previous plate appearances both ended in walks. Came around to score what so far is the only Manitoba run. That one back in the first inning. If you are just joining us, Manitoba with 1 in the first, Quebec with 2 in the third, 3 in the fourth. And Culleton takes a strike. Here comes the 0-1. That pitch misses down in the dirt, but gathered in nicely by Chamero, excuse me. I knew it ended with a vowel, I just picked the wrong one. That one will miss high, and Chamero, nice grab there as well. 2-1 now the count.
Peut-être que Veilleux commence à être fatigué un peu. Il fait chaud.
And got to give a big shout out to the volunteers who just brought us some water as well. That pitch just a hair outside. And not the Bob Uecker kind of just a hair outside either. 3-1. That did not miss by very much. 3-1 pitch grounded down to first. They'll get the force out at first. Now they'll come home and try to get it out there, but not in time. So a productive out and RBI for Culleton. Grounds out, 3 unassisted. And Baker comes in to score, so it's now 5-2 in favor of Quebec. Holm and Thompson both advance as well. Brings up Zoe Hicks. She's 2 for 2, an RBI double in the first, a single in the third. And now has 2 in scoring position with 1 out. And the Quebec bench trying to get the attention of the outfielders, telling them to back up. And with that big cut, if contact had been made, they need to be backed up.
Il l'aurait appris un peu rapidement.
We saw the power that Hicks has with that double in the first inning. Takes a breaking ball there, and the count now 0-2 as Veilleux with a great couple of pitches to start this at bat against the power hitter Zoe Hicks. Misses outside. Hicks, of course, wearing the number of another famous power hitter from back in the 90s, Jose Canseco.
Wow. Un flashback.
Although I highly doubt that she's ever had a ball go off of her noggin and over the fence like that.
Oh!
She
not off the noggin.
Not off the noggin, but she takes that one right off the tricep, and not a fun way to get on base, but she'll take it. And that will reload the bases for Mercedes Gorham, who's 0 for 2 on the day, struck out and flew out. Gorham with a chance here to help close the gap. 5-2 at the moment, but Manitoba threatening to put more on the board. That'll miss high, ball 1. However, with now 2 outs, just 1 more for Quebec to try and get out of this inning.
Ooh,
and there's a strike at the knees, 1-1. Perhaps a bit outside as well, but either way, it's 2-1. Gorham ready to take the 2-1 and swings and misses. And the count now 2-2. Good cut there by Gorham if she'd been able to make contact.
Tout à fait. Je pense que ça aurait été frappé d'aplomb.
Chamero indicated she wanted that pitch up, and she got it up and got Gorham to chase. So
Gros travail de l'équipe Québec pour se sortir de ça. Un seul point avec les buts remplis, avec aucun retrait. C'est vraiment là, un fielder's choice. C'est la seule raison pour laquelle ils ont été capables de compter un point là-dessus. Beau travail en défensive.
And for those of you who have a little bit of trouble with French, the comment from Eric there, great work by Team Quebec to only give up one run despite the bases being loaded with nobody out, getting a little bit of help off of that ground out, what was an RBI, but it was a ground out, and then the pop out and the strikeout as well. So one run only on 3 hits, no errors, bases left loaded. We've played 4 complete, and Quebec still leads Manitoba, but Manitoba has closed it slightly. It's now 5-2. Due up for Quebec in the top of the 5th inning. It is 7, 8, and 9 in the batting order.
Et voilà, avec Audrey-Anne Vachon, Élodie Chamaro et on est rendu avec Malaya Armand, je crois, qui est notre 9e frappeuse. Et évidemment, on revient au début de l'alignement ensuite avec Océane Lambert.
And Armand, the 3rd different person to take that 9th spot in the order. So when if you know what baseball scoring books look like, most of them have just 2 name spots for each spot in the batting order. So it looks like she's in the 10 spot, but she's actually on my sheet because I had to write her name kind of outside of the zone. But she's there. Malaya Armand will get her first plate appearance of the game in this inning after coming in as a defensive replacement in the bottom of the 4th. And back out after getting the strikeout to end the top of the 4th, it's Hepner back on the mound, and her first pitch misses down and away to Audrey-Anne Vachon. Vachon 0 for 1 so far on the day, popped out to short and walked. Foul tip there, and the count goes to 1-1. And while Hepner needs a minute to find the ball again, we'll let you know that Ontario 2 and Saskatchewan still tied 3-3, but they're now into the top of the 4th there. Looping curveball misses high and maybe a bit away. 2-1 now the count.
Oh.
Grounder right side of the infield, gathered up by Holm. She'll get it over to first in time for the first out. That'll bring up Elodie Chamero. She is 0 for 2, popped out or fouled out to first base and reached on an error. Ended up being caught stealing to retire her in after reaching on that error last inning.
Oh,
pops this one to short as well.
Un peu de soleil.
And making the catch there at shortstop is Mercedes Gorham. And that will bring up Malaya Armand for her first plate appearance of the game. Armand playing third base here this morning.
Oop.
Sends that one high into the air on the left side, into foul territory. Coming over and making the catch is Zoe Hicks for the 3rd out. So a quick 1-2-3 inning for Manitoba, and that's exactly what they need as they try to mount a comeback here. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We've played 4.5. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th with Quebec still leading at 5-2. And Manitoba, the heart of the order, 4, 5, and 6 due up. It's Leah Peich, Caitlin Hepner, and Amber Baker. And then if anybody gets on, it'll be Ella Holm as Eric makes a great defensive play there to save the paper from flying away on us. We haven't had much wind to deal with so far this morning, but when it picks up and you got all the papers lying around, it becomes a challenge.
On essaie de les faire sécher. Ils ont été un peu mouillés hier soir. Donc, les étendre un peu afin d'enlever un peu d'humidité, ça risque un peu quand ils sèchent.
And back out there for another inning of work, it is still Megan Veilleux on the mound.
Terminé la dernière manche avec un gros retrait sur des prises.
And for Veilleux, she's up over 80 pitches, so I believe this is...
Ça va être sa présence, je crois, pour le tournoi.
And while we're between innings, we'll take you through the rest of today's schedule. Of course, 2 games in progress right now, Manitoba and Quebec 2 here on this field. Of course, that's the one you're watching over at Weir Field right now. Saskatchewan and Ontario 2 still tied at 3. At 1 o'clock here at Mainland Commons, it'll be BC and Quebec 1. That's a Pool A matchup. Both of those teams with big wins yesterday, so that'll be an exciting game to watch. Alberta will play Ontario 1 at 2:30 over at Weir Field. Then at 4 o'clock, Quebec 2 will be back for their final round-robin game. They'll be taking on Saskatchewan at 4 o'clock. Then at 7 o'clock, Manitoba will be back on the field against the hosts from here in Nova Scotia. So that's the rest of today's schedule here on AO Live. And then round-robin play will finish up tomorrow morning and early afternoon.
We'll see.
There's a strike, and the count 1-1 now on Peich. Peich 0 for 1. She walked in the first and ended up getting picked off, and then popped out or flew out to left field in the third, and swings through a pitch that here in the fifth. So the count now 1-2. The round robin ends tomorrow, and then we start the placement games. Grounder down the third baseline. It ends up hitting the bag. And some real bad luck there for Armand, as she was well positioned to make the play, but the ball hits the base, and that results in Leah Peich getting her first hit of the game. You can't give an error when the bag is the one that gets in the way and stops the play from happening.
Tout à fait, je suis d'accord avec toi.
Great effort by Armand, and if the bag isn't right there, she makes that
On a
play.
vu ça hier aussi, c'est la deuxième fois en 2 jours que le coussin est un facteur au troisième.
Hepner shows bunt and ends up missing the ball, so 0-1 the count. Hepner 0 for 2 at the plate. Flew out to right in the first, grounded out to third in the third. And Hepner, of course, the current pitcher for Team Manitoba after starting the game at short.
Peu d'action dans l'enclos de l'équipe Québec. Commence à se renvoyer quelques lanceurs à se réchauffer.
She caught Peich leaning the wrong way, but Peich somehow able to get back in time. Another really nice move by Veilleux there to almost pick off Peich for the second time.
Un peu de coaching de la part du coach de premier but pour s'assurer que Peich soit bien attentive.
And that move from Veilleux, so deceptive. That pitch just misses. Chamorro looks back to Blanchette to find out where it missed, and Blanchette indicated just a bit outside.
C'était un beau lancer par contre.
That one skied into shallow left field. Backing up, making the call and making the catch is the shortstop Lambert for the first out of the inning. One away. Peich, of course, has to stay at first. That'll bring up Amber Baker. She's 2 for 2 with a pair of singles and a run scored. And a pop fly like that that we just saw out in the shallow left field. Great job there by Lambert to make sure that everybody knew that she had a beat on it. It was her ball to take. And great communication by the Quebec defense to make sure that they know whose it was.
Puis présentement, aucun vent. Si on regarde les drapeaux au champ-centre, très peu de vent.
Baker ahead in the count, 1-0. And another.
Oh!
Peich again just gets back.
Je crois que Veilleux sent que Peich a de la difficulté avec sa motion.
Peich was picked off the first time she was on base, has almost been picked off twice here.
Pas cette fois. L'assistance de tout le monde du côté de l'équipe Manitoba là-dessus.
And this time, I don't know if you noticed or not, but Peitsch didn't even have to move her feet to get back, as she's barely taking a lead now.
Oh.
That pitch ends up in the dirt, but Chamorro, another good job of getting in front of it. The count goes to 2-0. And Leah Peitsch, yeah, she's not at all aggressive with her lead, as she is
je crois que
very...
Veilleux l'a cloué au premier but.
As the expression goes in English, Veilleux is living rent-free in Peitsch's head right now. I'm sure there's a similar expression en français.
Elle est dans sa tête, comme on dit.
That pitch misses just a bit down, and the count now 3-1 on Baker. Three balls, one strike, one on, one out here, bottom of the fifth inning.
Oui,
and there's a strike, 3-2. As over in the hitting cage off outside the field, off to the right field side, Team BC starting to warm up. Although there's also warming up happening in the Quebec bullpen. We'll get back to that in a moment as we get a single out to center field. Peitsch able to get down to second at that hard hit ball by Baker. Now 3 for 3 on the day is Amber Baker.
Peitsch doit être soulagé depuis au premier but.
It'll bring up Ella Holm. She's 1 for 2. Flew out to left in the second, singled in the fourth, also to left field. Runners on first and second here, one away. And as we mentioned, there was action in the Quebec bullpen as that one fouled well out of play, first base side. And I think it is Lavallee who is was warming up there. Lavallee pitched yesterday, and it looks like she might be pitching again today. She's finished her warm-up tosses and is making her way back down towards the bullpen, or towards the dugout rather. That one, slow roller back to the mound, over to first base, and just in time to get the out.
Mais elle avance ses coureurs.
Sometimes a pitcher has to be a good fielder, and Veilleux able to get off the mound quickly and make the out there. But it does advance the runner, so now both are in scoring position for Jewel Thompson. Thompson 1 for 2 on the day, reached on a fielder's choice in the second, singled to left in the fourth, and has a chance to pull her team closer here if she can get another hit in the fifth. That one bounced in by Veilleux, and the count 1-0. Veilleux gets herself set. And the 1-0 pitch. Grounded left side of the infield. It gets past
Voici un jeu pour Baker.
Baker's going to get tagged out.
Mais je crois que le point a compté auparavant, donc...
Baker might have been better, sir. Now the question becomes, did the run get across the plate before Baker was tagged? And the indication is that Peitsch did indeed score before Baker was tagged out, so the run will count, so it'll be a rare fielder's choice RBI.
Oh, attendez, voici une discussion au sujet du point compté versus le retrait. Le marqueur l'a accordé, mais peut-être que Blanchette change son avis, discute avec ses arbitres.
Now they're going to talk it over. The run has been put up on the scoreboard.
Mais le scoreboard, c'est pas le...
Is not, yes, you're right. The scoreboard is not the official.
D'après moi, je crois que Peitsch a pu compter auparavant. Elle était bien partie sur la balle frappée dès qu'elle a vu qu'elle est passée, mais
And it looks like the way the Manitoba coaches are reacting, the run is going to come off of the board here.
Coach Bissonnette ne semble pas très impressionné dans le moment. Et voilà, on a retiré le point, disant que le retrait a été fait avant que le coureur ait traversé le marbre.
So the run does not count, which means it will remain 5-2. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. We've played 5 complete, and Quebec continues to lead it 5-2. And we'll go to the top of the 6th inning, and it's the top of the order for Team Quebec 2.
Et voilà, Océane Lambert, Frédéric Noël, Megan Veilleux et Éléonore de Blois, qui serait la 4e frappeuse de cette manche.
Lambert comes up. She's 1 for 3.
Le haut de l'alignement.
Singled and scored in the 4th.
Oh, bien frappé.
And takes the first pitch out to left center field, and it'll drop in between the fielders.
Oh, Lambert
And
qui
she's
joue.
going to try and stretch it into a double. She will get there in time.
Très belle course de Lambert là-dessus. C'est pour ça qu'elle frappe au premier rang.
It looked like when she was about halfway between first and second, it looked like it was a bad decision, but it ended up being a good one as she was able to just avoid the tag. So a double for Lambert to lead off the top of the 6th inning. That brings up Frédéric Noël. Noël 0 for 2. Lined out in the 1st, reached on an error in the 3rd and scored. Walked in the 4th and scored as that ball in foul territory, but not quite able to get to it is Culleton.
Je l'avais perdu.
Well, with the tent that we've got above us, we could not see that ball at all. And I wasn't sure if it was going to land on the dugout, if it was going to land on our tent, or if it was going to stay in play. It did stay in the field, but Culleton not quite able to get to it there in foul territory.
Bel effort, par contre. C'est vraiment donné là-dessus.
So Noël gets a second chance here, down in the count now 0-1. And the count evens up 1-1 there on the pitch that misses just outside, delivered by Hepner. Hepner in her second full inning of work after coming in the top of the 4th. Pickoff attempt, but able to get back is Lambert.
On doit respecter la vitesse de Lambert, comme elle vient de démontrer.
Lambert has actually twice so far today. She had reached on a fielder's choice and ended up scoring, and then singled and scored. That pitch misses just a bit down and away, and the count now 2-1. Megan Veilleux in the on-deck circle. Veilleux up to 88 pitches so far on the mound. There's a grounder to third, gathered up, looks the runner back, and gets the ball across the field in time for out number 1.
Très bien joué par la joueuse de 3e but là-dessus.
That is number 33, Zoe Hicks, playing third base, making that very nice play, as you mentioned. And that look of the runner back, it wasn't just a look, it was a couple of steps toward her as well, just to make doubly sure that Lambert wasn't going anywhere.
Avec un bon bras aussi, pour le retrait au premier était facile quand même.
Megan Veilleux now up. She's 0 for 2. Grounded out in the 1st, walked in the 3rd, ended up being stranded at third base, and popped out in the 4th. That pitch misses outside, and 1-0 here on Veilleux. Veilleux with a 3-run lead so far, has a chance to help out her own cause with a runner in scoring position. And now Veilleux ahead in the count, 2-0. Hepner, since coming in, has retired 5 of the 6 batters that she has faced. Lambert, the only one to reach base. There's a strike, and it's now
Une balle de prise.
1-1.
Une balle de prise.
I thought it was 2-0 before that strike, but Pick-off attempt, and again, Lambert able to get back. As Gorham able to sneak behind her there and get over to the bag from shortstop position. But Lambert able to get back. This time the delivery comes to the plate and it misses low, and it's ball 4, so we were way off on the count there. As was the person operating the scoreboard, so I don't feel too bad.
Sur le scoreboard. Il devrait pas avoir le numéro 9, là. Jamais.
3 strikeouts to 1 batter at once.
Hat-trick strikeout.
Desbois coming up now. She's 2 for 3 with a pair of singles and an RBI so far this afternoon, or this morning. It's still morning. For a couple more minutes yet.
Encore un 5 minutes ici à Halifax. Mais au Québec et au Manitoba, c'est encore très le matin.
That's true, yeah. They still have a lot more morning watching from back home. And we do appreciate you spending your Friday morning with us here on AO Live at these 2023 Women's National Championships. That one hooking well foul into the Quebec bullpen.
Mais avec une bonne distance tout de même. C'était bien frappé.
So 0-2 the count now, we think. We hope. Only in the sense that we hope we know what we're talking about, not that we're necessarily hoping for a count to be 0-2. We are properly true, impartial fans of the game. Another pickoff attempt, and again Lambert
serré, ce coup-là.
just gets back.
Ouais, on essaie vraiment d'éviter que Lambert ait une trop grande avance avec la vitesse qu'elle a. Une balle frappée, il la fait compter facilement. Ouf.
And there's a swing and a miss as Hepner able to get Desbois chasing. That's the second strikeout for Hepner since coming into the game. And she'll face Alexandra Lacroix now with 2 on and 2 out. Lacroix is 0 for 1 on the game, despite this being her 4th plate appearance. She grounded out in the 2nd, walked and drove in a run in the 3rd, was hit by a pitch in the 4th. So only 1 official at-bat in the 3 previous plate appearances. Lacroix, the first baseman for Team Quebec today. Chopper gathered up by the shortstop and tried to make the decision to tag the bag.
Belle course de Veilleux.
Gorham not quite able to get back and reach the bag to get the force out at second, so it'll be interesting to see how they score that, whether they call it an infield single or whether they call it a fielder's choice and an error. I'm going to put it in my book as an infield single for now. We'll wait to see if we can hear what the official scorer says about it. Charlie Marcotte coming up now with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Marcotte 0 for 2 on the day with a walk, a flyout, and a strikeout. And the first pitch bounces in, and Culleton gets a bit of an assist there from Blanchette as the ball ended up bouncing up and hitting Blanchette rather than Culleton.
Wait.
There's a called strike, and the count goes to 1-1. Bases loaded, 2 away here, top of the 6th inning. That pitch will miss low, and the count now 2-1. A reminder, our next game scheduled for 1 o'clock start. That'll be BC and Quebec 1.
Ooh.
Swing and a miss.
Excellent élan.
2-2 the count as Marcotte chased a high fastball there. Couldn't quite catch up to it.
And troisième prise.
And that will not only be la troisième prise, but la troisième strikeout for Hepner since coming into the game. So a leadoff double ends up being stranded at third base. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, bases left loaded. And Quebec not able to take advantage of the bases loaded situation in the top of the 6th. We'll go to the bottom of 6 with Quebec still leading by a score of 5-2. Due up in the bottom of inning number 6, it is Horizon Senf, Caitlin Culleton, and Zoe Hicks. That's 9, 1, and 2 in the Manitoba batting order. And just heard from the official score there, no errors in the inning, so that was called an infield single.
Great run by Veilleux to stay alive.
Yeah.
Here's our new pitcher.
And we do have the pitching change coming in. It is Micah Lavallee, who, if I remember correctly, she did pitch. I know she appeared in yesterday's game.
Elle a lancé hier, Micah, certainement.
Yeah.
Je me souviens, sa couette est assez longue, oui. Son ponytail cache son numéro. Je me souviens d'elle hier.
Yeah, Lavallee was the second pitcher in the game against Nova Scotia.
Et je crois que Veilleux va aller au champ.
So,
oui, je crois que Veilleux va jouer au champ gauche.
Yes. So that means Marcotte is coming out of the game, I believe. So Lavallee comes into the batting order in the 6th spot. She'll take over in Charlie Marcotte's spot in the order. And Megan Veilleux will move from pitcher to left field.
L'athlète comme Veilleux, t'essaies de le laisser dans l'alignement.
And the first batter that the new pitcher will face is Horizon Senf. She's 0 for 2. Flew out to center and popped out to first in her 2 previous at-bats. And as mentioned, we saw Lavallee yesterday pitching against Nova Scotia, a solid left-handed pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
She's got good movement on her fastball. She's got
une autre
a nice breaking
gauchère,
pitch.
le Manitoba affronte une autre gauchère. 2 southpaws.
Yeah. And Senf takes a first pitch strike, 0-1 the count. As we can now say good afternoon. That one into the air.
Oh.
And nearly a collision as the ball ends up dropping in just between Lambert and Veilleux. Lambert did get a glove on it, but wasn't able to pull the ball in, so Senf on. That'll bring up Caitlin Culleton. She's 0 for 1. Walked and scored in the first, walked again in the third, grounded out but drove in a run in the 4th. So 0 for 1 with an RBI, a walk and a run scored. And first pitch misses high from Lavallee. One and 0 the count here on Culleton. As Lavallee steps off.
Il n'aimait pas ce qu'il voyait.
And
toujours une gauchère.
Manitoba base runners not having fun with these Quebec left-handed pitchers.
Ooh,
There's a beautiful strike right at the knees, and the count goes even 1-1. And we saw that yesterday from Lavallee. She's got great command of her pitches. Culleton gets a piece of that one, fouls it straight back, and the count goes to 1-2. Another one fouled back. That'll get into the screen as well. So it'll remain 1-2. And we'll quickly let you know that Ontario put up 5 runs in the top of the 5th inning. They're into the bottom of the 5th over at Weir. Ontario 2 now leading Saskatchewan 8-3. So Ontario was the victim of a big comeback by Manitoba yesterday. They've had a comeback on Saskatchewan today. That pitch misses high and it goes to 2-2. Ontario 1-1 after a victory over this Quebec 2 team yesterday as well.
C'était un beau lancer, ça, de Maïka. Question de... En avance dans le compte. Oh.
That one sent out to straightaway center. Backing up and making the catch is Vachon.
Très bien joué par Vachon là-dessus.
Vachon, great jump on that ball, as you said, and able to get back. And those ones that are right at you sometimes are a little difficult to judge. If they're a little bit off to the side, you can sort of get a better judge of the angle, but when they're straight at you like that, they're sometimes a little harder, but Vachon did very well. And
that second freeze that sometimes cost you.
Yeah. Brings up Zoe Hicks. Hicks swings at the first one and fouls it off. Hicks 2 for 2. She's reached base all 3 times she's been up. An RBI double in the first, a single in the second, and hit by a pitch in the single in the third, excuse me, and hit by a pitch in the fourth. And gets a good cut at that one, but ends up fouling it off as well. 0-2 now the count. Hicks with that deep, deep bomb back in the first inning that drove in the run, and another hard hit ball right to center. So hard hit that it's almost a force play at second.
Oh, c'était serré. Plus serré qu'on l'apprécie.
To hit the ball that hard and almost have it count against you as a ground out, yeah. That brings up Mercedes Gorham. She's 0 for 3 today. Struck out twice and also flew out to center. Comes up here with a couple of runners on base and just one away, bottom of the 6th inning. Gets a hold of that one, and that will drop in for a single.
Et la balle qui est rentrée rapidement. Oh!
The ball nearly gets away, but not far enough that the runners can get any further than they were. Base is now loaded with one away.
Chamaro était vive là-dessus pour bloquer ce lancer.
And it'll bring up Leah Peitsch. Peitsch walked in the first, got picked off, flew out in the third, singled in the 5th.
C'est la situation qu'on veut. But rempli avec le 4e frappeur qui vient au marbre. Et Steve Hogarth appelle ses troupes. Question de ralentir un peu le momentum, peut-être aussi.
And Peitsch in the 5th inning singled, and we thought for a moment came around to score, but the run did not count as the third out was made on the same play, and led to quite a conversation between the umpires and then between the umpires and the Manitoba coaching staff.
C'était le premier appel de controverse qu'on a vu dans le tournoi à date de tous les matchs. Je pense que c'est la première fois qu'on a eu une discussion même.
That's true. It has been very well umpired, this tournament. As you mentioned, for those who didn't catch it, that was really the first controversial call that we've seen in this tournament.
Sur notre terrain.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. There might have been some over at Weirfield, but I haven't heard any scuttlebutt, as the saying goes, of anything.
Je sais pas comment traduire scuttlebutt.
2-0 now the count on Peitsch. Bases loaded, one away. Bottom of the 6th inning.
Ooh.
Peitsch swings through that one. The count now 2-1. And for Manitoba, we're down to the second last inning here. They really have to take advantage of this opportunity.
Ils ne peuvent pas perdre cette opportunité. Avec les buts remplis, un seul retrait, ils doivent compter des points. Oh.
And that's the second time the home plate umpire Blanchette has been hit by a pitch. 3-1 is the count. Although it kind of balances out as one happened when Quebec was on base and one happened when Manitoba's on base. So.
L'arbitre fait partie du jeu.
And Peitsch will get an RBI as she walks in a run.
Et voici Peitsch au premier but avec encore une lanceuse gauchère. Est-ce qu'on va essayer le pick-off encore au premier?
Well, this time Peitsch has a runner in front of her, so I don't think there's going to be as many attempts to pick her off this time. Caitlin Hepner, who is currently the Manitoba pitcher, has a chance to help herself out here. She is 0 for 3 on the day, however. Flew out to right, grounded out to third, and popped out to short in her 3 previous plate appearances. But her team is now back within 2. Swings through that one, and the count now 0-2. Still bases loaded, still just one away here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And that one just fouled off. Alex Ann Gamache heading down to the Quebec bullpen to warm up. And heading down there with a bit of urgency, it seems, with this difficult situation here in the bottom of the 6th inning. That pitch misses in the dirt, but Chamorro does another good job of getting the block. Count now 1-2. Lavallee delivers. That one will miss high, and the count runs full. And with the bases loaded, the count goes to 2-2, my apologies. So I withdraw the comment I was about to start making. That one, foul. And don't know quite where it landed. I thought it looked like it might have...
Encore le beer tent.
Well, now that it's afternoon, I'm sure the beer tent probably will start getting a little bit of business soon. That one grounded left side of the infield, knocked down by the shortstop. To second for one, not in time to turn a double play. That ball was not hit hard enough.
No.
You knew that a double play would have been very, very difficult there. So the fielder's choice does drive in a run for Hepner. 6-4 on the fielder's choice, ends up retiring Peitsch. Hicks comes in to score, and that run definitely will count. No controversy there. Mercedes Gorham now at third. Hepner takes over at first base. And we'll have Amber Baker up to the plate. Baker 3 for 3, and with a runner at third. Wow. And that runner at third is the tying run right now.
Elle joue un bon match, Baker. Je crois que une potentielle candidate à joueur du match.
Runner from second going. They will throw down, and the ball does get away, but not far enough to allow Gorham to advance home from third.
Noël n'avait pas une très bonne chance de l'attraper, cette balle-là. Elle était un peu basse, livrée par Chamorro.
The pitch was called a strike, so that does put Lavallee ahead in the count, 0-1 on Baker. Baker, as you mentioned, having a very good game at the plate. We talked about it, 3 for 3, and now the count evens up 1-1.
De beaux jeux en défensive aussi.
Yes, she's played very well defensively at first base as well. On one of those 3 times that Baker reached base, she did come around to score.
Retirée dans un jeu. Elle essaie de provoquer de quoi, mais.
Yes, she was on that fielder's choice to end the 5th. She was the one who was tagged out. That gets past the third baseman, Armand, and that will score 1 run.
Encore un from Baker.
Baker now 4 for 4 on the day, and the game is now tied.
Et voilà que le dernier point de l'autre manche est très important.
The comeback kids have tied it up again. Manitoba trailed by 6 yesterday against Ontario, came back and won that one. They trailed by 4 at one point in this one, and they've come back to tie it up here. It's now 5-5. Runners still at the corners in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Ella Home up to bat. Home 1 for 3. And that one will get through, and Manitoba takes the lead.
Oh! Oh!
And-
Un jeu tenté. Oh! Ça peut faire très mal.
Perhaps an error in judgment out in right field there from Eleanor Desblois to try and get a force out at first base. The throwing error ends up allowing Baker to get to third, and Home gets to second, so it'll be a single and an error, and therefore it will be an RBI as well for Home. Hepner comes in to score, and Manitoba takes a 6-5 lead with 4 runs here in the 6th. And now batting is Thompson. Jewel Thompson coming up. She's 1 for 3. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 2nd, singled in the 4th, and ended the inning with that ground into the fielder's choice in the 5th. Now batting here in the 6th with a chance to extend her team's lead.
Oof.
But swings through that pitch, and the count now 0-2.
Alors, je reviens au jeu du champ droit. C'est un jeu forcé comme ça, dans une situation comme celle-ci, c'est un manque de jugement.
The pitch fouled back, so the count remains 0-2.
Baker qui fait un peu de groundskeeping.
Couple of big divots there in the base path. Here comes the next 0-2 pitch.
Oh.
Swung on and missed, and that will be strike 3. They'll throw down to first, and the throw gets away. That will allow 1 run to score.
Des erreurs, malheureusement, pour Québec 2.
So that's the 2nd error of the inning, and another unearned run. Well, one of the runs would have been earned anyway, but that allows an unearned run with Baker scoring. And Manitoba extends their lead. It's now 7-5. And Horizon Senf comes up for the 2nd time. Actually, that was the 3rd error of this inning, because Senf reached on an error to start this inning.
Avec une balle frappée au champ gauche.
That's right. So 3 errors committed by Quebec. One
À la fin de la 6e.
one fielding, one fielding and 2 throwing. Senf takes a strike there. The count 1-1. As Manitoba, with 5 runs here in the bottom of the 6th, have taken a lead, and now they'll have a chance to finish it off in the top of the 7th if Quebec can't put a couple on the board themselves. And maybe the lesson to be learned for Saskatchewan and Nova Scotia, who still have yet to play Manitoba, is if you're going to get a lead on them, don't get it until the 7th.
Yeah.
Throw over to first, and Thompson able to get back. That pitch misses inside, and the count now 2-1 on Horizon Senf. She's 0 for 3 overall. We mentioned she reached on an error to start this inning. She popped out a couple of times, or flew out to center and popped out to first, her 2 previous at-bats.
Ooh,
Sends this one out to left field, and the catch made there by Veilleux. But Manitoba does what they need to do. They put up 5 runs, thanks in part to the 3 errors. They also did have 4 hits in that inning, and they left 2 runners on base. So we'll go to the top of the 7th with Quebec needing 2 to tie and 3 to take a lead. And it's going to be the 7, 8, and 9 spots in the batting order for Team Quebec.
Et voilà, on va voir Andréane Vachon, Elodie Camaro et Melaya Armand qui devraient être les 3 premières frappeuses de la manche. Et si on fait le tour, évidemment, Océane Lambert qui revient au début de la ligne.
And Caitlin Hepner, who came in relief in the 4th inning. looking to now finish off what would be her win, as she's thrown 2 1/3 so far and has pitched very well in that 2 1/3 innings, striking out 3, and has a chance to give her team a 2-0 record. And it would drop Ontario to 0-3, which would mathematically eliminate them from contention for a quarterfinal spot.
Oui, une très importante manche pour Québec 2 ici. Évidemment, s'ils n'arrivent pas à compter au moins 2 points, c'est la fin. Et 0-3 dans le tournoi, c'est presque la fin pour eux là-dessus aussi.
They will, regardless of what happens, they have one more game today to finish off their round robin. They'll be playing Saskatchewan later on this field, and they will be playing in at least one more game on Saturday, a placement game depending on where exactly they do finish. They'll be playing and get at least one more game in, and you know, this is the development team for Quebec. This is not the top team. This is Quebec 2. And so for these players, this is a growing opportunity, a learning opportunity. Some of them will end up moving up to the Quebec 1 team in future years. And the chance to get this experience, maybe they don't end up with the win-loss record they would have hoped for, but this is still going to be very valuable playing time for them in their development.
Je suis absolument d'accord avec toi. Donner une bonne chance d'apprendre au plus haut niveau. C'est championnat national. C'est important.
And if nothing else, they got to see Halifax too.
Oh, un but sur balle pour commencer la manche.
So Adrien Vachon leads off the inning with a walk there, her second walk of the game. That'll bring up Elodie Chamero. Chamero 0 for 3 on the day with 2 pop-outs and a reached on an error. And as Chamero steps in, we'll let you know that Saskatchewan has earned a couple of those runs back. Throw over to first. And the ball ends up hitting Vachon, which actually helps out Manitoba, as Baker not quite able to make the catch, but the ball ends up underneath Vachon, so she couldn't go anywhere else. Saskatchewan scored 1 in the 5th, 1 now in the 6th, so it's now 8-5 for Ontario. That one fouled back behind, and it will hit the Eastling truck. Looks like no, it didn't hit it with much velocity though, so everything's fine. Saskatchewan still batting in the bottom of the 6th, trailing 8-5, but they have 2 on and 2 out, so with a chance to try and close that gap. Saskatchewan 1-0, Ontario 1-1 in Pool B play, and again, that's the Ontario development team playing in the B pool. There's a grounder to the third baseman. Throw over to second and not caught there. The fielding error there by Ellie Holm.
Le lancer était un peu bas, mais Holm devrait la rattraper. Cette balle-là n'était pas au sol.
It was a good throw from Hicks. Holm just not able to squeeze it. And so that puts runners at first and second with nobody out. And the potential leading run in the form of Malaya Armand up to bat. Armand making her second plate appearance after coming into the game defensively in the 4th inning. She flew out, or popped out to the shortstop, or to the third baseman. Ball gets away from Culleton, and that allows the runners to advance. Armand was showing bunt.
Le même effet, le bunt.
Yeah.
En avancé des coureurs et t'es encore au bâton.
Yeah. You get the runners advanced, like you said, and you don't have to give up an out to do it. So.
Voici, je crois qu'on va changer notre lanceuse ici pour le Manitoba.
No, this is, I think this is just to talk to everybody, to calm them down and make sure that everybody's got their heads on straight right now. And we've seen a little bit of difficulty with the fielding by both teams. in the last inning or so. So this is a chance just to allow everybody to settle a little bit. And for Hepner, she's going to do everything that she can to get this one finished out here in the top of the 7th. Two runners in scoring position though with nobody out. Armand at the plate. Takes that one high, ball 2.
Évidemment, Québec ne peut pas gaspiller cette chance. Sinon, le match va être fini.
Swung on and missed, or swung on a foul tipped into the glove of Culleton. So 2-1 now the count. Océane Lambert, the leadoff hitter in the on-deck circle. That one will miss low, 3-1. Hepner gets herself set, the 3-1 delivery, fouled back into the screen, and the count now 3-2.
Belle.
And this one of those key pitches in this game.
Camaro, une énorme avance au deuxième.
Popped up high into the air, foul first base side, and Culleton not quite able to get there, nor was Baker.
Culleton travaille très fort.
Both of them with a great effort to try and get to that ball, but Baker, speed is not one of her greater assets, and Culleton with all that gear, when she doesn't have the gear on, she's got some speed, but anybody trying to run around with that catcher's gear on doesn't have great speed.
Surtout dans la 7e manche, ça fait 7 manches qu'elle porte l'équipement, il fait chaud.
Exactly, very warm. They've played 6 innings already into the 7th, and there's a swing and a miss as Armand, it looked like she was fooled on that pitch.
Absolument, très beau lancé.
And that's a big out to get without any runs coming in, but it does flip the order over into the top of the order now. Océane Lambert,
qui a frappé un beau double à sa dernière présence.
Yes, and had a single and a run scored prior to that, so she's 2 for 4 overall on the day. Hepner gets herself set. Ooh. And a nice breaking pitch, but it just misses inside, says Blanchette. And Culleton, you saw the way she looked back there asking where it missed.
Blanchette, ça lui a tenté, je crois, ce lancer.
Out to center field.
Voici le tag.
And runner not going, as again, that's the 3rd time that we've seen a ball hit out to Horizon Senf, and Senf has shown that she has got the arm that you cannot challenge, or if you do, you're doing so very much at your own peril.
Bien joué de Baker aussi de couper ce lancer, peut-être d'emprisonner la coureuse.
So that will bring the last chance for Team Quebec to Frédérique Noël. Noël 0 for 3. She lined out, reached on an error, walked, and grounded out in her 4 previous plate appearances. When she reached on the error, she came around to score. When she walked, she came around to score. And takes a first pitch strike. As Hepner feeling it now, she knows she's down to 1 more out to get her team and herself the victory here.
Oui.
And improve to 2-0 on the tournament.
Ça va lancer avec beaucoup de conviction maintenant.
That pitch misses outside, 1-1. The potential game-tying run still at second base in the form of Elodie Chamero. Audrien Vachon at third. And the potential go-ahead run at the plate in the form of Noël. Takes a curveball for a strike, and it's 1-2.
La même prise qui a figé Melaya Armand plus tôt.
At that breaking pitch, froze Armand, like you said, and Noël couldn't do anything about it either. Here comes the 1-2. Oh, time called by Noel.
Bonne stratégie.
Yeah. Hepner's gonna get Culleton to go through the signs again. She likes what Culleton calls, and here's the pitch. Oh, shot right back up the middle. That'll score one. It will not score two because there's Senf out in center field.
Et voilà un peu de piquant.
But it's an RBI, and it moves the game-tying run to just 90 feet away at third base, and it'll bring up Megan Veilleux. Veilleux 0 for 2 with a pair of walks. As runners first and third, Culleton going over the signs for what's going to happen if Frédéric Noël goes after a steal here.
Noël est quand même assez rapide au premier but.
Here comes the pitch. Misses low, ball one. First and third. Tying run at third, go-ahead run at first. Top of the 7th inning, Manitoba up 7-6. Fouled back into the screen, 1-1 now the count.
Bel élan de Veilleux.
Veilleux swing just a half an inch higher, and that one's launched out into the outfield. And there's that curveball for a strike again. It's one thing to have a breaking pitch. It's another thing to have a breaking pitch that you can throw consistently for strikes. And that is what Hepner has been doing, particularly in this inning. 1-2 the count. Quebec down to their last strike for the second time. They survived the first one with that RBI single for Noel. Can they survive it again this time with Veilleux? Runner going.
On concède le vol. Aucun lancé.
The go is now in scoring position. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. Curveball misses low, and now the count full.
Compte complet.
There is room to put Veilleux at first with that base empty. The go-ahead run at second, the tying run at third. And that one misses low, ball 4. It loads the bases. So now, that actually, I think, helps Manitoba a bit, because now you got to force out at any bag.
Tout à fait.
And it brings up Alexandra Lacroix, who is 1 for 2. She's walked, been hit by a pitch, or sorry, Eleanor Delbois. I'm looking too far. I put the circle on to indicate the walk on the wrong batter. So Delbois, who is 2 for 4 with a pair of singles and an RBI. First pitch to Delbois misses high.
Encore une fois, quatrième frappeur au bon moment. But rempli.
Here comes the 1-0, and that's in for a strike, 1-1. Hepner trying to finish this off. She came in the 4th, got a strikeout to finish that inning, retired the side in order in the 5th. That one popped up, shallow center field, coming in and making the catch is Senf. And Manitoba, their second straight comeback victory, brings them to 2-0 on the tournament. Quebec 2 falls to 0-3 with an incredibly close, incredibly hard-fought 7-6 game. We'll have the presentation of the players of the game in just a moment. And on the defensive side for Manitoba, Senf and the job that she did in center field certainly has to rank up there. But you look at Amber Baker going 4 for 4. You look at Caitlin Hepner and what she did on the mound with 3 1/3 innings of great
Absolutely.
pitching. You look at Culleton and her work behind the plate, as well as a decent day offensively. Zoe Hicks with a great day on the mound. A lot of candidates there.
Semph was
Yeah.
really strong and defensively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the Quebec side, Oceane Lambert had a great game at the plate. Frederique Noel, I keep wanting to flip her name around, but she went, she got on base 3 times. You know, Lavallee had a good game on the mound coming in relief. Deblois with a pair of hits, including an RBI. A few different players you could talk about there. So we'll see who the respective coaching staffs end up choosing. And we'll find out here in just a moment. Manitoba not aware of the protocol that the player of the game has to be given to the announcer.
Now for the game player for Team Quebec, le joueur du match pour l'équipe Québec, numéro 19, Megan Veilleux.
And Megan Veilleux, a very good choice there. Reached
Très bien
base 3
lancé.
times, was a great pitcher. Started the game on the mound, played well out in left field when she got moved off of the mound as well.
Team Manitoba, number 2, Caitlin Hepner.
And Caitlin Hepner, why not? 3 1/3 innings of fantastic pitching, gets the win, including 4 strikeouts in that 3 1/3 inning of pitching. And she also, along with what she did on the mound, she also ended up coming in and scoring what was, at the time, the lead run. It ended up not being the game-winning run, but at the time it was the run that gave Manitoba the lead. So a 7-6 final for Team Manitoba. That's going to do it for game number 1 here. The 1 o'clock game, I'm going to not just guess, but say for sure will not be starting on time because it is already 12:36. So they have to set the infield and then give both teams their chance to do their outfield and infield warm-ups. So I'm thinking we're probably going to be looking at around 1:30 to 1:45, or sorry, not 1:30 to 1:15 to 1:30 as a potential start time. Once we know what the start time is for sure, we will announce it, but our next game will be 2 teams that are 1-0 in the A pool, that is British Columbia and Quebec 1. Until then, on behalf of my awesome color commentator and sidekick Eric Fougier, this is Michael Petter saying may your pitches hit the corners and may your liners reach the fence. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your Friday.